Just about managed to polish off another forkful of pasta there. Noodles, rather. So, thanks for coming on to the Nielsen ratings. I wasn't originally going to do a show today. In fact, tonight I was going to review the post office drama, just do a show about that. But I binged that yesterday, watched it straight through with no breaks. And with Alex Tabrizi of the Outcast Creative, I did a little review of it yesterday, but I felt it warranted further discussion, as did a few other things that I've seen of late, and there was a couple of other things I thought would be nice to discuss. So let's jump in to 2024, and I'm going to bring in the first of my two guests. There might be a couple of other people joining us as time goes on. We shall see. But first of all, the man who drinks more than the critical drinker on any given day of the week. It's Blue Collar Loser.
I'm still recovering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you coming on, man.
Godzilla, guys. The Godzilla whiskey. 18 years.
So is that like the hair of the dog recovery system? I mean, that bottle looks about half empty already.
No, it's like there's that much left.
Oh shit! It's actually 3/4, even 4/5 empty.
It was blended. It's blended Scotch whiskey and was made in Scotland. It's 46% volume per proof.
And is this personally endorsed by Godzilla himself?
I hope so. After what I drank, he should endorse it.
Did you experience the fiery breath after? Did it give you that ability?
I mean, as soon as I drank, I'm just like I was shooting flames and seeing God and Godzilla and.
Fantastic. You are in the United States. Whereabouts?
I'm in New York State.
New York State. In New York State?
Albany, New York. So about like
I know what that is. That's just below Syracuse.
Syracuse is about an hour drive from my house.
Yeah. Because I worked in a summer camp just outside of Syracuse in a place called Remsen.
Really?
That was in 1988. You know.
Have you ever seen 4DX? Because in my area, sometimes I will drive the extra hour to see 4DX because only Syracuse has 4DX.
You mean like showing the films in 4DX with the seats that throw you around?
Yes,
I saw Avatar in that. Avatar 2 in that kind of cinema.
I've seen John Wick 4 and 4DX is an experience.
That was a lot of fun. Now, just out on day release from his local prison, Northern Bastard is here. Hello, sir.
Hello, you lot, and welcome to 2024. Let's hope it's less shit than last year.
I mean, it's been a bit horrible for some people already. We've had a couple of very high-profile murders in the UK that took place on New Year's Eve, one of which involved a young boy, which is particularly tragic. Just over some kind of argument over nothing, from what little information I know. And that was literally, as the crow flies, that event took place probably about a mile from where I was in New Year's Eve, the club I was in. Just at a fireworks display event. I mean, it's, really feel for that family. And then we had somebody else was shot, and then we had the plane crash in Japan today.
I just heard about that a few hours ago. Like, bloody hell, that's crazy.
I mean, that could have been so much worse because they got the passengers off super fast, but like the whole plane was on fire within a couple of minutes, wasn't it?
Jesus Christ! Yeah, they're still investigating, aren't they?
Yeah, it clipped a Coast Guard plane, which presumably was on standby waiting to take off because of the earthquake, of course. And I'm sure they were very brave men and women. And unfortunately, most of the crew of that plane that small aircraft were killed. I don't know what happened there, but I'm sure it'll all come to light. But my heart goes out to all of those people.
Yeah.
Can't imagine you're starting the new year full of optimism, something like that happens. That's got to be, I don't know. That's tough. So sending Japan, Harry's family and others some love here from the channel.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably doesn't mean much, but got to say something. So just want to say hello to some people in the chat. We've got Keith E lurking around. Always appreciated. We've got Leroy again, who we'll no doubt have on another show in the near future. There's Phoenix is here. Daryl Johnston is here, who always likes saying my name in capital letters. Much appreciated.
Lance.
Lance. Jemima Lama. I mean, I don't know who that is, but I love the name.
Yeah.
Conjures up visions of an exotic goddess. Please let us know if that's the case. And then there's this blue collar guy. I don't know who that is. Need to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, moderators, keep an eye out. I actually just received my first payment from Google today.
Really? Nice.
Yeah. All right.
It was like about $50. So if I think about all the hours of work that I've put in on my channel thus far, that probably works out at something like 5% of a cent per hour, roughly, something like that.
Yeah.
Jalama Lama is confirming nothing so exciting. They are, in fact, a sea dragon. So there we are. Did you guys have a happy New Year?
I say so. I mean, we did. Everyone caught COVID for Christmas, so we mixed New Year's with Christmas last night.
Right.
So it was pretty good, and we got to see the new Dave Chappelle special, which was, oh my god.
Is there
more controversy?
Is that dropped on Netflix?
Yes. Yep. And that's what
we run about the same time Ricky Gervais is.
We actually watched.
He dropped his.
We watched Chappelle, then Ricky back to back, and that's what talked with Enzo. That's why I love guys like Chappelle with these whole. People talk about racial boundaries. Like, look, we had 15 Caucasians watching Dave Chappelle, all of us drinking, laughing our asses off. Like, the man is a legend. Like,
good. I have seen the Ricky Gervais stand up. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Dave Chappelle one, but we can get into that as well. So you combined Christmas and New Year. Does that mean that you had like a turkey for New Year's dinner?
We actually did lasagna. So it's
love a nice Italian.
That sounds good.
That and alcohol.
It always goes down well.
I can feel my stomach expanding at the very very cool of it.
I haven't eaten since. Trust me, I had like four plates of lasagna. I'm like, then all the whiskey. So,
all right.
Yeah, me and the wife. Yeah, sorry, we'll go on.
Oh, sorry, Northern. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, me and the wife actually go to a lot of Italian restaurants whenever we have chance, and yeah, a nice Italian food does go down better with a beer than a kebab, in my honest opinion.
Indeed, that is very true. Now, so let's get into it. One of the reasons I decided I thought originally, I'm going to be too hungover. I don't want to have to do a Nielsen episode on the 2nd of January. And how much stuff will there be to talk about? Well, as it happens, quite a lot.
Yeah.
So, because the 4-part drama, Mr. Bates versus Post Office, exploded on television in the UK yesterday. It actually dropped on ITVX during the day. So Alex Tabrizi, who is still with me from his night of clubbing in London, I'll put up photographic evidence of said event in a second. He got to sit down and watch it with me. He had seen my play, which is about the same subject. I won't get into too much of that detail now. But Dick and Tolson and I, we co-directed the play. Here's a group of the Outcast Creative out for New Year's. At Age Against the Machine, which is a club for over 30s only, which is wonderful. We all feel, that we're not too old when we're on the dance floor, and we also know all the tunes. Dickon looking suitably red flushed to match his shirt there, and that's Alex Tabrizi. That's Alex Tabrizi on the end. So so Dickon and I produced and I wrote the play. We co-directed it together. We had a couple of different casts and things. And that was basically about the same story, but it was a satire. So of course, tonally, extremely different. Now you have Bates versus Post Office, which is a 4-part ITV drama starring Toby Jones as Alan Bates, the man who kind of rallied the various victims of this terrible tragedy to his cause. And he's supported on the cast by various other British powerhouse actors, including Sean Dooley, Monica Dolan, Amit Shah, and Will Mellor, to name but a few of them. Fantastic actors, all of them. Alex Jennings is in there as well. It's a really, really good cast. It's not an easy story to tell something that occurred over 20 years from multiple viewpoints that involved a lot of different characters, and the drama does it extremely well. There was stuff that came out about it, and I consider myself very well informed and educated on the subject. There was stuff that came out in the drama that I wasn't aware of. There were a couple of little bits that I was like, oh, I should have put that in the play, you know. But there was also a lot of stuff that they didn't contain. So, but it's a really good educational segue into the topic. Now, if you go onto Twitter, or X as it's now known, it's known as X because all these pornographic ladies just keep commenting on all your comments. So that must be why it's called X. This is the real Alan Bates, who, in my opinion, should get an MBE or an OBE. And Paula Venables, the woman in charge of the post office, was given a CBE in 2019, even though at that time the the scandal had all come out in the open. For anyone who doesn't know about the scandal, just putting it in really succinct terms, a faulty, overpriced and not sufficiently tested computer system was installed across the entire British network of post offices. It unfortunately didn't work properly. It had a terrible habit of doing something called transaction duplications, which would mean that your till would read that if it had taken £5,000 for the day, it would actually take £10,000 for the day. And because of the contracts that the postmasters had to sign, who were essentially sort of self-employed business agents for the post office, they were legally liable for all this money. And then the post office had this whole team, this whole investigation team and legal department dedicated specifically to prosecuting these people. And that department did absolutely nothing to investigate the claims of the postmasters that there is something wrong with the software. Because when the people at the post office turned around and asked Fujitsu, the company who had designed the software, if there was anything wrong with it, they said, no, of course there isn't. Now, that's not strictly true. A lot of people knew there were problems, but there was a party line of, no, Horizon, there's nothing wrong with it. And by this time, they were already prosecuting people and sending them to prison. So this went on for nearly 20 years.
Wow. And
affected hundreds and hundreds of innocent people, including Janet Skinner here, who was interviewed on This Morning Today. And I'll put this link for this interview in the chat. And then on her right is Tracy Falstead, who went to prison at 19 years of age. These people were wrongly prosecuted. And you're not talking about people losing a couple of £1,000s. You're talking about an institution coming after them for tens of thousands of pounds, taking their house, their car, their business, everything. Some people ended up homeless. 6 people committed suicide. It impacted loads of people's health, destroyed lots of marriages.
Wow.
And this is what the drama covers. Now, the first episode, I'll be honest, is a little bit clunky. It's a bit expositional. They're trying to sort of pack up quite a lot of stuff. Again, just look how many posts there are about this scandal on Twitter. Just type in post office scandal and you'll just see so many things about various postmasters being interviewed. And there's Alan Bates, and the postmasters all met up in Fenny Compton when they had their very first meeting to form their organisation. In our play, that was called Fanny Backwater, because our play was a satire, so we could afford to sort of make it very comedic in a sort of dark, humorous way. But I think about 50 of the postmasters came to see our play, all in all, and they all loved it. So Nick Wallace wrote a book about it called The Great Post Office Scandal, which is sitting on the shelf behind me. And again, here are the leading cast for the series. Now, Bastard, you've watched the first couple of episodes, right?
Yes, I did, and God, it does piss you off a little bit to watch this. Seeing these ordinary people, unassuming people, just get molested in such a terrible way, harassed. They get harassed. Everything. It's really disgusting, but there's some positivity to it as well, because you're watching just normal, a small group of ordinary people just getting together to take on this big machine. You know, even though there's a big chance they could lose and be even in an even worse position than ever.
Yeah. And I mean, Alan Bates, played really well by Toby Jones. He's quite a sort of,
he is.
In real life, Alan Bates is quite a sort of a slightly elusive, very unassuming man, not someone who chased the limelight. Until now, he's given almost no interviews with the press. But I think, you know, now that the series is on, finally the public at large it's given the story the kind of exposure where now everybody, I heard about that, but I didn't really know what it was about. Now they can have a good overview of exactly what happened to these people. And I mean, one of the big sort of cornerstones of the entire thing is that the post office and the security teams that work for them were constantly, depends how I'll send you the link right now. Just let me grab that. Were constantly being told that they were the only ones who were experiencing this problem.
Yeah.
And the public inquiry, by the way, is going on for this right now. It's always broadcast live on YouTube. It's quite fun watching the various, criminals, basically, I'm going to call them, because that's what they are.
Yeah, they're criminals. They're criminals.
Yeah.
They are criminals. They are absolutely, they're criminals. They work for an organisation that was carrying out acts of criminality. They were lying to these postmasters, telling them that they were the only ones experiencing these problems. The helpline told them that. The security teams told them that. And then the other thing that they told them is that remote access by Fujitsu to any branch account was completely impossible. Mm-hmm. Whereas actually, Fujitsu could access any account at any time, at any post office, anywhere in the country, and could go in and change the figures any way they saw fit. Damn. And the whistleblower who brought this up said, of course we can do that, because how can we go in and fix bugs? That's our job.
Yeah, I remember watching that on the second episode. I mean, the guy teaching him how to do it was like, was totally blind and oblivious to all the wrongdoing he was getting himself involved in. He was just acting all casual about it. It's crazy.
That character is based on a guy called Richard Roll. Excuse me for polishing off my late dinner while I'm doing this. I'm very unprofessional.
Oh, it depends.
But yeah, Richard Roll does reappear in episode 4. Welcome, Stepenzo, to the stream.
Hey, I was listening, and I thought I should just be here. So here I am.
There's more headroom above you than normal, Stepenzo. Do you need to whirl round the seat a bit more so it goes up? There we go.
Is that better?
You got the red light. Are you up to something?
I don't like to show the actual light bulb because it like flares out, you know.
Your room is looking very red tonight.
Yeah. I always have a theme. Plus, the red's softer on my eyes. Party
so
last night.
We've just been talking. We're going to cover some other topics as well, of course, but we've just been talking about the post office scandal. I'm sorry, just a sec.
I think I was on your channel
tonight,
recently.
Leroy. This is my 4 People is my my Max, and Enzo's my regular co-host, which is why I was waiting for him to come on.
Yeah, I told him, I gave him the
Another
fake
one.
out and said I wasn't gonna make it. I had to do work, but I was like, nah, this is gonna be a short one. I'll just pop in.
Yeah.
I could be here. But yeah, as far as I was on your channel recently when I realized that little guy from the show is actually British. I was like, what? I thought he was an American this whole time.
Toby Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you need to watch the BBC comedy drama series called The Detectorists. A really very simple, beautiful story about two best friends who basically go detectoring for, old ancient artifacts and finds in fields and things. And there's this really sort of niche, nerdy community within that. But they could be two members of a Lego Builders Club. It doesn't really matter what connects them. It's a really beautiful story, and that's the show that brought Toby Jones to kind of the national.
I like the guy in The Mist. He's good in that, and he's also good in he played Truman Capote, and I know Philip Seymour Hoffman gets the most recognition as playing the guy, but I'm like, nah, that little dude, he was better. Anyway,
Happy New Year to you, sir. How was your New Year?
Well, I watched Chris drink like 2/3 of a bottle of scotch. Wow,
is that the Godzilla
shell glasses?
Yeah, we played silly Quiplash all night. And what's funny is, like, I don't know, we used to make fun of Blue Collar because he would drink like cordials and liqueurs, like 15%, 20% alcohols with like tons of sugar. We'd always laugh at him, and now he's like, oh yeah, well now I got 40% scotch, and he's gonna drink like the same amount he's used to drinking.
Left, dude. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So just to go back on topic for a second, if you look at my avatar picture,
nice.
This is on the closing night of the play that we did about the post office scandal.
Yeah.
That's Dickon of the Outcast Creative on my right. And these are two of the postmasters, Tim Brentle and John, I forget his surname, who's got his arm around me. And when we did the last performance of the play, we knew we had a couple of postmasters in. We recognized a couple of them. So when we did our company bow with the cast, I said, well, we've got some of the postmasters in tonight who are the real heroes of the story. So our company would be honored if they would come up and take a bow with us on stage. There was about 20 of them in. So we had like a whole load of people come down from the audience. I was like, oh shit, I don't know if we can squeeze everybody in a line, but we did it. And then he just grabbed me and put his arm around me and said, his exact words were, we thought the general public had forgotten about us and abandoned us, and no one cared. And you have proven to us that that's not true. And you can see when he said that to me, I'm just about to burst into tears. So I had to look down because I was like, oh my God, I'm getting well emotional here. But I mean, if you're a writer and you do a piece of work that's about some kind of social injustice, what greater compliment could you receive as a creative to be told that your work has had that kind of meaning to somebody who you did it for in the first place?
Yeah.
So I don't know that I'll ever get a compliment about my work that will mean as much to me as that particular moment did. So, Blue Collar Loser, you've seen some of the first episode?
Yeah, I mean, just like, I tried getting into stuff, but when I kind of like passed out.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to order you to watch the series when you're more compos mentis.
Okay, it's on my list now.
Blue Collar has trouble following a show if there isn't guns and bombs and hot naked chicks in it.
I think if you just keep saying to yourself, all of this really happened, I feel you will be appropriately engaged.
Yeah.
So I do feel you'll be appropriately engaged. Plus, Toby Jones. So
yeah, great.
Plus it's a David and Goliath kind of story as well. I mean, they're always good. I always like I always like a good small guy going up against the big guy kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you you said it's 4 episodes. How long are these each episode?
Each episode's about 45, 50 minutes.
Okay. So it's like a pretty standard long movie.
Well, it's basically it's a mini series. There's a lot of British dramas that are like.
That's why I love British TV because, like, they'll be like, "Hey, watch this show. It's got 5 seasons, but it'll only have like 12 episodes total." And you're like, "Oh, All right, cool.
Okay, well, I mean, this is one season, and this is all you're going to get, but it's
Right.
true story. Fantastic stuff. Leroy, just wishing everybody happy Christmas and
Yeah.
New Year. Great to have you back
was
in the
chill.
chat. And then, yeah, Leroy, we'll definitely have you on another show in a week or two.
You guys light off fireworks where you're at, Lance? Probably not, right?
No, they did a massive fireworks
But
display.
Can you, like, as a civilian, go buy fireworks and just light them off or somewhere?
We can.
Okay,
that
cool.
is true. You have to be over a certain age, but I believe that the fireworks are fairly wimpy now. The
that's
place
an interesting theory.
this is where I was on New Year's Eve. There you go. So
Yeah, you seem like, were you like a big raver?
Yeah.
Like, you know, hell yeah.
What do you mean were? I am a big raver here and now.
Yeah.
He never changes.
Yeah.
Are there any
man.
funny pictures of you like rolling your tits off?
No, I'm not indulging in. Let's.
I could see you wearing a cagoule and a bloody bucket hat, like the Happy Mondays or something.
No, video,
no,
like
no,
Lance
no.
grinding his teeth awkwardly.
No.
So hit, man. You twisted my melon, man.
I actually
love seeing those videos.
I actually didn't have even that much to drink. I was pretty sober and well behaved for the evening, but I did have a really good time, and spent the evening dancing with really lovely people.
I like going to raves and hanging out with my burner friends, but sometimes like I'll be sober around them, and I realize like these people are a bunch of hideous freaks, like they're a bunch of fucking crazy drug addicts. Like when
I think that was
high with them,
that was just after New Year. That one was taken. And
hell yeah,
I had a really great. I got to make about 10 new friends that night. I nearly did have an altercation with someone though, and they were
sexual
proper
or aggressive.
No. I mean, they basically assaulted me, and they didn't realize that I was one of the promoters of the event. So, we went and had a quick little meeting, and they asked me if I wanted them chucked out the club, and I said, you know what, just leave it, because the guy was probably a bit drunk. But I had to move past him to get to the toilet. It was packed at this point. It was 550 people in there. And he was really tall, really. He was like 6'7" or 8. And I went, "Happy New Year, mate. Sorry, just got to squeeze past you." And I kind of had to go round him. And I said, "You're a really tall, good-looking guy, aren't you? I think you must be the tallest guy in here." And he, and I was just trying a bit of kind of jovial banter.
He gets told he's tall everywhere. You understand?
Well, of course he does. He got very upset about it, and he grabbed me and went off on one completely.
I'm not fucking tall, all right.
No. Like I haven't fucking been told that before. But and I was about to say to him, "Okay, mate, sorry, I didn't mean to cause offence. I was just having a bit of banter with him." At that point, he put his hands around my throat, and he said, if you wanna have a really bad start to your 2024, I'll smack you in the mouth. Now, F off," and push me away. And at that point, I was in a state of shock, and I was like, "What?" And I've never seen any trouble in this club before, except the time that this lady assaulted the woman running the cloakroom because she was drunk and couldn't find her ticket. Yeah. And I happened to be there to wade in and stop that woman from trying to leave the club. But yeah, man. I mean, I think he just had a bit too much to drink, and maybe I hit a nerve. I don't know.
Yeah. When you meet someone who is,
come on, man,
is like that, like, first of all, a guy that tall is probably not afraid to get physical. So it's probably not the first time he's just like slapped someone around just because he felt like it. Second of all, yeah, when you actually encounter someone like that who's like literally like a fucking like a movie style aggressive, bully, you're like shocked. You're like, I don't even think people like this existed. Like, what?
Well, it was a weird moment, and the security came and had a word with me because like I said, I was helping out at the event. I'd given out some prizes and this, that, and the other, and
maybe he has
I think they went and had a word with him, but I just said, don't chuck him out, because I just don't want to, I don't want him pissed.
Also, a guy that large, like, he
was really tall, but he was skinny as a rake.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the other thing. Is like when you big giant dudes like that, it's like good luck throwing him out the bar without him, trying to
No,
act like a gorilla.
the security guards were huge. I mean, they could take care of themselves. This guy was a posh nerd.
All right. Well, like I said,
so,
it's probably what I first thought, where he's just been told he's tall 100,000 times, and you were like finally like.
I said to him, "You're probably the tallest, best looking bloke I've ever seen."
And
so I was actually sort of making it as a joke and compliment.
Probably got pissed off. You called him good looking. What?
Yeah, no, I
think good looking.
When he grabbed my throat, I should have just grabbed his ghoulies and twisted them because I was in good position to.
Dude,
to
out
do
here
that.
in Texas,
But,
you don't just grab people by the throat. All right, the guy will be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then they'll leave, and then they'll come right back with a gun, and that's it. Like, hello,
yeah,
I was the guy you strangled a minute ago. Remember me? I have a message.
There was a couple of my friends that were by this time had drunk a lot more than me, and they were proper ready to kick off and go and have words. And I was like, guys, let's leave it. We don't want to, we don't want to be causing any problems, and we don't want to be ruining anyone's night, least of all the guys who organised the event, because it was a really, really good event. So I had a good time. But anyway, so we highly recommend Mr. Bates versus Post Office.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to double check with Enzo on this, because the site I went to isn't playing anymore, but unfortunately it's not on any of our normal American sites to watch it.
Right.
No, that website whatever Lance sent you, like, make sure you just have ad blocker on your damn computer.
No,
I can neither confirm nor deny that I sent anything to anybody at any time, and let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, but BritBox or ITVX is where you can watch the show. If you can't see it there, I'm sure you'll find another means.
I will find a way.
There's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. But yeah, and also just go on to Twitter and check out the various links, of which there are many, to the Post Office scandal. You'll see interviews with absolutely everybody that's kind of come forward and been public about it. All kinds of other stuff going on. So, okay, I've got a couple of other things to talk about that I've seen, and I dare say my guests do as well. But I've got a guest coming on quite last minute. I've got two guests this week. I've got Dennis Maguire tomorrow, first AD from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Black Rain, Misery, whole lot of other great 80s and 90s movies. So can't wait to talk to him. On Thursday, I've got another interview with an up-and-coming director called Natalie Kennedy. She's just done her first feature film. She's working on her second. She sent me a link to watch that feature film today. I think, Northern, you're going to join me for the interview on Thursday, right?
Yes, I will. I've seen the trailer, and it looks pretty fucking intense.
So this is her feature film. It's called Blank. It's very much like an episode of Black Mirror. It's about a writer who gets writer's block. She signs up. It's set slightly in the future, so it's that, weird time when people like own robots and that kind of thing. So I mean, normal time for Enzo. But she basically goes to a writer's retreat that is specifically tailored to her needs and requirements, to design to get her to finish her book that she can't complete. The twist is that the AI has been infected by malware that kind of runs the house. And basically she's not going to be allowed to leave the house until she actually finishes the book. And this is like the AI kind of concierge that talks to her and stuff. It's a really clever film. I really liked it. This is her personal assistant robot who appears. She kind of charges up overnight and is there to do her bidding.
Why is her robotic eyeball exposed? Is that just normal?
that happens. No, that happens when she
Okay.
gets damaged in the
I was
movie.
like,
I
what
don't
a
want to.
freaky design flaw. Like, I don't, let's have our robot look human, except we'll expose like one part of their eye just so they know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it looks
Am
cool.
I the only one who thinks there's hints of misery in there as well? Because she has to finish a book.
Also,
There's
the
that
name's
little
great.
thing there.
Blank, like you're drawing a blank,
Yeah.
and
No, I was thinking that.
robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I love that was the nickname of the robot aliens on at the world's ends. They're called blanks. That's good.
Yeah, well, it's a tight budget. 3 people in the cast, not including flashback scenes. But it's a good little film. So I'm interviewing the director of that on Thursday with
Wow.
Northern. We're going to be talking to her about that film and just her career in general. We've got Dennis Maguire tomorrow. I've got Emmanuel, the founder of the British Urban Film Festival, Emmanuel Asogwe, coming in next Wednesday. And I'm interviewing him in the afternoon at 3 p.m., which is a bit of an unusual, but he only does his interviews during office hours, which is completely fair enough. So, so quite a packed January already. And I'm also in touch with the director of Mal Barrett. That's the Black Hawk Down told from the Malaysian point of view. That film just dropped on Netflix. So I recommended it a week ago.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get him on the channel for an interview as well before the end of the month. So looking pretty good. Tim Thomason has also got back in touch with me, and he wants to come back on again because he enjoyed doing the interview with me so much. Yeah. So we're going to arrange for a part. Yeah, we're going to arrange for a part 2 with Tim. Maybe talk about some of his favorite movies. Do it a little bit differently. And he's also been in touch with a couple of his friends in the industry who also want to come on. So just a couple of other comments in the chat here. Wild Mark, blood promos. I thought I said prunes for a minute. Have you given any thought to writing Post Office Inquiry? So yes, I have, because I have written and directed 2 plays already based on public inquiries before. One was the Marchioness Inquiry. The other one was the Victoria Climbier Inquiry. And I have been watching all the inquiry and I have been taking note. The thing is, it would need quite a big cast, probably of around 20 actors at least, because of all the different witnesses, and every actor would probably have to play up to 2 witnesses or lawyers, so they'd have to double up. It would be quite a long play, and really it would need to be financed. So it's all about the finance, baby. So, and I'd need a minimum of probably 7.5K to put that on. I'd like to actually put on the Post Office play that we've already done again, but I won't put it on again without any money, because we did it basically on a wing and a prayer last time. Jemima Lammers read up on the Post Office scandal. No words. Yeah, I'll definitely watch the watch the TV drama. And David Macy, his daughter got engaged yesterday, but today her fiance got rushed into hospital with chest pains. It's all bloody happening.
Oh.
Well, I hope he gets the treatment he needs. Don't worry, mate. It's probably just kidney stones or a shock to the engagement.
Yeah.
Maybe he checks
his bank account.
That's the worst, when you go to the doctor thinking you're dying and they're like, "You're fine, dude." Like, you're like, "Oh, okay."
You've just swallowed a piece of Lego.
I'm having a heart attack. It's like, "You're fine." It's based on what we're seeing. Okay.
Just having that good news and then have something real bad happen later. Jesus Christ.
I know. Yeah,
I thought I had a thing going on in my nether regions. Went to the doctor and the guy's like feeling my balls. He's like, "I'm not feeling anything." Like, he's upset at me. I'm like,
did he ring up?
Sorry, I'm not tricking you over here to like grab my scrotum, dude. I thought I had something wrong. They're like, "No, you're fine. Get out." I was like, "Oh God."
Mr. Hartman violated me. He took my innocence
again.
The stories from Enzo never get old. Now, has anyone seen? I'm hoping one of you has, but maybe no one. Has anyone seen Ferrari yet?
Oh, I've been hearing that's good, but no.
So I know.
Blue Collar, you bet you've been to see it?
No, I wanted to. I'll check it out tomorrow. They're playing it. It's just been so busy with the holiday weekend.
I've been dying to see it because ever since I saw the trailer, been very, very keen. It looks good. I'm a big fan of Adam Driver. I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
Not always best served by the scripts he's given.
Nah.
It's a big budget production. I like the fact that it's period. And the driving sequences look amazing. But I've heard mixed things from people. I've heard it's incredibly slow. Pacing is a bit all over the shop. Performances uniformly good, except for one person who I think is playing an Italian, but is not an Italian. And so again,
Mamma mia.
Yeah, there might be a bit of that. I don't know. Mixed bag. Lots of behind the scenes shots on IMDb here, taking over bits of Rome and things. Yeah, I was hoping somebody might have seen it, so no one's seen it. So I guess we'll pick that one up next Tuesday then.
Yeah, they got showings tomorrow at noon, so I'll check out the first showing tomorrow.
Very good.
You know, every time I tell someone my name is Enzo, it's always like some guy like the Ferrari dude, right? I'm like, yeah,
yeah, that's you.
And women seem to associate my name with some high brand shoe that's out there.
Is that a good thing?
I guess. But if you're a real nerd, you'll probably be like, oh, Enzo, like from Reboot. I'll be like, oh, who are you?
Christ,
You're speaking.
I have not watched that in years. But that was the first time I saw computer animation in a TV show. The earliest I can remember.
Wild. I need to rewatch it and see how badly it's aged. Who's my favorite Enzo character was in The Big Blue with Jean Reno playing that free diver Enzo, and he had like Enzo written on his like sweatsuit. He's like, I'm Enzo. I'm the greatest free diver in the world. Remember?
I remember that film. It was highly praised when it came out, but I felt like it could have been a half-hour short, personally.
Yeah, it was cool underwater photography and great, like
Very
you
good.
know, vistic scenery in Italy and stuff. But I hate the American ending where they made it a happy ending.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, like in the American ending, they show a footage of him like resurfacing back with the dolphin, like he lives.
Oh, right.
Ending, him and the dolphin just swim off into the darkness of the sea, and you assume that he dies or something. It's weird.
Yeah,
they did the same with. Yeah, they did the same with the Descent, didn't they? At the end, she makes out the cave in the American version. Our version, no, she's stuck in there. She goes fucking nuts.
I think in the American version, she comes out of the cave, but then we realize like the whole thing's like a dream. You know, she's actually
they.
Oh, that was the same here. That was the same here, actually. Yeah, but they did a sequel.
No, the true story behind that is they made him shoot a happy ending. That happy ending has been added as an extra on various releases. But that was, but he Neil Marshall, because I asked Neil about this when I met him last summer, and he dug his heels in and demanded that the original ending stay in the movie because he didn't like. I think they did some test screenings, and because that reshoot ending was her kind of running out into the road and flagging down the truck driver, and all of that, kind of finding a tunnel out. Whereas the original ending was she's just in another cave and it's full of bones, you know.
Yeah.
And she's not going anywhere. So yeah, but there's been quite a few films that have had their endings reshot because of test screenings, and
you gotta wow them at the end, man. Like if the ending, you know, I don't know, man. Sometimes the ending has to be a bang. That's like RoboCop, you know, where like they had like another news skit that was supposed to be, you know, hey, Lois is getting better in the hospital and this bad guy's going to jail and, you know, RoboCop's doing well. And that should have been the ending. But everyone just loved it's such a high point when he says his name's Murphy.
Yeah.
They're just like, we should just end it right there. Hard end. And it's so good.
Yeah. That was a good ending. I didn't know that they had an additional news skit for that.
Yeah,
in the movie.
yeah. It's just you ended on such a high note. Oh man, it's so good. People walking out of the theater with smiles on their faces. That's what you want. You got to wow them at the beginning, wow them at the end. As long as you wow them at the end, that's all that matters.
So I started watching on Netflix last night until I fell asleep, only to be woken up by water pouring onto my bed from the flat above me this morning. Great fun. Yeah, no, not really. I've just had to move the bed to the other side of the room, and it's still within the danger zone. Yeah, there was a Netflix German show that dropped this week. I think it's a series rather than a movie, called This Child. It opens with a woman and her 2 children. They're kind of captive in this room. It's a bit like that movie Room, and they have to show their hands to this man that we don't see. And then the next thing we know, the woman's escaping into the forest. And she's knocked down by a hit and run, which may or may not be the guy going to look for her. But is rescued, taken back to the hospital along with her daughter. The son is still missing. And the daughter gives bits of information to the medical teams and the investigating police officer that cause them to think that the man that they're talking about as their father is not really their father, but some kind of captor. Pretty good so far. I did fall asleep, but that's only because it was like 4 a.m. and I was tired. But has anybody else seen that?
Negative.
I might give it a go, though.
Yeah, check it out. I quite liked it. I guess I'll sort of try and find where I dozed off and pick it up today. Blue Collar, what else have you seen since we spoke last?
God, Mean said, I know the week, the past few weeks been Iron Claw, Wonka, Boy and the Heron, Aquaman 2, and yeah, just the Ricky Gervais and Dave Chappelle specials, and that's pretty much it.
Let's talk about the Ricky Gervais special. Northern, you've seen that as well, right?
No, not yet. I've just come into knowledge about it not too long ago. But I know Frankie Boyle, who was a controversial comedian, has been slagging Ricky Gervais off, which is a bit rich from a guy who did a joke about the Queen's pussy being haunted.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty interesting because it's been a bit controversial. There's quite an interesting article in the Independent where Ricky Gervais has done an interview, and he's explained that Netflix didn't bother promoting his new special.
Really?
No. And I mean, I have to admit, I didn't know it was coming on until I saw it. In the kind of news section.
Yeah.
So, but there's a really good article. He did a controversial joke, started a petition that calling for its removal. I think the thing with Gervais, whether you love him or hate him, is he's a complete advocate of free speech, and he's a complete advocate of comedy should be able to take on anything without fear of offense because it's comedy.
100%.
I agree with him. I don't find all his material funny, but I probably find 75% of it funny, and that's as good as it's going to get with me.
I think his material's very funny, but his delivery annoys me. He's very like laughing at my own jokes. It's childish.
But you've had a career recently as his stand-in for stuff when he's not available. How's that going?
It's good. It's good. Nobody could tell. Nobody could tell at all.
Yeah, as long as you keep your mouth shut. It's
right.
How's your British accent?
Both specials were good. Yeah. He's go. How does he say? I don't know if I could.
That sounded like that was that Irish.
Yeah. Sure. Right. My name's Ricky. Hello. I don't know. I can't do it. I'm sure I could work on it if I studied it. I did like his special and Chappelle's. Me and Mom watched them both back to back yesterday. And Gervais's was funny. They were both funny, but yeah, like I said earlier, it's like this whole this is gonna be like everyone's gonna start pivoting, to this more edgy stuff, and they're gonna start bragging about it. This is the raunchiest comedy special you've ever heard. Not
And
safe.
the
for
funny
work.
part too, like any kind of comedy, is that Ricky and Chappelle, they both at the last 5 minutes, they get you laughing, make you thinking, then they give a very good, impactful speech about, like Ricky Gervais says, yeah, I am woke, but
Yeah.
maybe the term woke is not me, it's that the word has changed. And Chappelle gives this whole big speech about, his
yeah.
life, and
Yeah, he's saying
so
woke
it's-
now means like, yeah, we know what woke's supposed to mean. It means you're
Yeah.
inclusive and progressive, but now it just means
Yeah.
you get people fired for saying silly stuff.
Yeah.
That people have other bad actors have taken it and ruined the term. And yeah,
100%.
Chappelle, like I thought Chappelle's sketch was going to be his stand-up special was going to be more preachy, kind of like his last one was, a little less comedy, more talking about current events. But then, like, yeah, with the Man in the Moon story, I was kind of like, by that point, like, he's like, okay, this is like very serious. And then he like ropes you in with that. He teases the button really well. The button is when you go back to the punchline,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
always very good at teasing the button, and then he'll push it at the last minute and bring you right back to like the craziness. And it's like, it's so funny.
Northern
Well, he
Gone.
does do his he does stand up like a stand up comedian. Ricky Gervais is always a bit different. Like, he'll say something very offensive, like he doesn't realize he said anything offensive. Like, the bombings of Nagasaki and Hiroshima were described as science gone wrong. Me, I thought it worked a treat. Just casual like that.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, I don't think he's being over the top offensive just for the hell of it. I think the reason he did that is because of the time and the way society has gone and the current social climate, and he wants to challenge that, and rightly so, in my view. And
I think another thing though why Chappelle's better. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a joke he said as well. As like, have you ever tried to say something offensive just to antagonize your wife, but she doesn't react, so you got to go even harder? I bet Hitler did that, except it went a bit too far.
Yeah.
I didn't do that, and I still got divorced. But
yeah, but like Blue Collar said, like Chappelle's actually a stand-up comedian. He's a damn pro, and the thing is, he's got this everyman vibe about him.
Yeah,
even though
Ricky
he's like
Gervais,
the goat. Yeah, Ricky Gervais has this like.
Ricky was never a comedian when he started off. He was like a musician, wasn't he? Then he got into doing comedy programs, and then the stand-up came after.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, the stand-up. Well, I mean, the stand-up came after doing The Office, but I mean, what he was doing with The Office naturally, I think, segued.
Have you guys, dude, the David Brent movie where he goes on the road? That is one of the funniest things ever made from England.
If
you haven't seen that, watch that.
It's a spinal.
Whether you're mental in the head or mental in the legs, it's just crazy.
It's the most amazing cringe humor. Like, if you like cringe humor where it like makes your skin crawl because you feel so sorry for the person.
Even though he's a terrible person in a way.
It's next level.
Have you seen the full video of Equality Street?
God, it's so great.
And
fat people lazy. A midget saying lazy.
Oh, right.
Babies aren't lazy. That's it. Jesus Christ.
And he wrote it so that he could put his black cousin in it, who is some sort of distant relation of his, and also a bit of a singer, and he's quite good. And it's just brilliant.
It's so sad because, like, he's the same character from The Office, who is not. He's not Steve Carell's character. That's like a misconception that like Steve Carell and Ricky Gervais's characters they're kind of playing like the same character, but in different countries. Not at all. They are totally different dudes. David Brent is like spineless and stupid and greedy and all these great things that make him like very awful and endearing at the same time. But what's so sad is like he's like it starts off with him like he's got his band and he's hitting the road and he's gonna go tour, and it's very like starting bands. If you've ever been in like a low up and coming band, like that's definitely what a lot of these early gigs are like. You cram into a van and you go play these random gigs, but like it's eventually revealed that he is like paying all these musicians out of his own pocket, and they don't even like him. They just learned all these dumb songs, and it's like, oh my God, it's so sad.
I do like how they eventually do end up kind of warming up to him, despite their best.
Of course, the whole
despite the best
movie is
self.
like them like avoiding him like the plague, and like they don't even eat their lunches with him. You know,
Because he's the middle-aged has-been, isn't he? He's the middle-aged has-been hanging out with these young lads who could be doing better without him.
well, yeah, that's the other thing about Ricky Gervais, like in his stand-up comedy and his performances, his stand-up comedy especially, he's got this air of like superiority, and it's kind of undeserved. It's like, I don't know, he's got this very like, oh, I'm better than you, but it's just like, I don't know. Chappelle does not have that vibe.
The one thing I like about Ricky's stand-up over Chappelle though is the whole like comparing older films to nowadays standards, like the whole Schindler's List joke. It's like, yes, we're looking at Schindler's List. Okay, what in 2023, are there fat jokes? Are there animal abuse? Is anti-Semitic? You're watching Schindler's List.
Yeah, it's the other load.
Yeah.
I feel in time for next week, and Enzo, in time for next week, I feel you should AI your face onto this image, and we should do a
sure.
You could
do a side-by-side comparison.
I mean, I've got pictures of this myself, like doing stuff like this naturally. I've got plenty of pictures of me on stage, except I play the drums. I'm not a guitar player, but yeah, that sums up the whole movie right here. This frame, this guy.
The guy next to him is very funny as well, though. Have you seen? You should watch his. You should watch him rapping about how everything is racist. It's the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Is that him? Is that Ben Bailey just doing that separately outside of this?
Yeah. It was like saying rain is fucking racist. This is racist. That is racist. Hysterics. It really did.
Good stuff.
Well, we'll have to. Yeah, definitely. We'll have to.
What else did you say you watched? Blue Collar? Oh yeah, the Iron Claw.
I like that. So Iron Claw.
I've been trying to watch that.
It's very good.
Lots of people have been talking about that.
Here's what's great about it. It's a movie about these Texas wrestlers, right, in the 80s. But you could show that movie to anybody from any country, from any demographic, and they would understand what the hell that movie's trying to tell you at the end of it.
That's why it's so powerful because like sometimes you see a sports film or a wrestling film. It's like the wrestler is a wrestling movie. The wrestling in the Iron Claw is kind of secondary to the story.
Yeah,
right.
If you have any siblings, man, you're gonna be like Niagara Falls coming out of your face at the end of that movie.
So is the plot for Iron Claw centered more around their personal lives, sort of, and goals and aspirations outside of wrestling, or the reason why they're doing it in the first place is to support family members or whatever?
I mean, it's definitely Holt's character. He's like the stereotypical dad where he couldn't make it to be the champion, so he wants his sons to like pick up in his footsteps.
Like any given Sunday, but for football, but instead of football, it's wrestling.
Yeah.
And Zac Efron is clearly the lead. He's centered around him.
He's really come along. He really has.
Dude, and he looks super weird and roided out, and it
I mean, how much Weetabix has Zac Efron been eating here? Because
dude, he's
I'm guessing roast
steroid. Beef. He also has like this, like, I don't know if he got plastic surgery or if his face is
they said that. He said he got into a car accident, some kind of an accident where his jaw got messed up. So he did get before a couple years for the film, some kind of surgery on his jaw.
Right.
Sometimes steroids just like widens your face. That could be what it is, and he's just lying.
It's funny that the guy in the black shirt here. I mean, if you put a de-aging machine on Quentin Tarantino and took him back to being a teenager, that could be him. Really looks like Quentin.
You'll get into it, Lance. Eventually, you'll see some controversy. Like, whenever you have a biopic, people get upset because in real life there's 5 brothers, and the film only has 4 brothers, and that gets some people aren't a fan of that.
So this is based on a real family. These guys really existed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what's great is I know the story of the family, and it's like, even if you know it, like about the Von Erich brothers, it doesn't. It's the movie still has that impactful, payoff at the end, even if you know how the story actually turns out. And that it's one of these stories where when you hear the story, you're like, damn, this would make a good movie, but the movie would be depressing as hell.
Yeah. So Paul Walter Hauser, who plays kind of annoying nerd types, does he have a significant role in the film?
I don't remember him in this movie at all.
I guess he's just a fan.
Yeah, I didn't see him.
Is he involved in like the making of the movie, or is he just at the premiere? He could just be at the premiere. Also,
I've
it's pretty cool that
seen.
they premiered it in Dallas. You know, kind of where it takes
Yeah.
place. You know.
No, that is good. I've seen Jeremy Allen White in a couple of other things. This is an actor to watch out for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was
is
good
he
in The
actually
Bear.
related to Gene Wilder?
No, but everyone.
I mean, it looks like he should be.
I
People
know.
were saying that,
I
like,
didn't know if
for,
it was true.
yeah, Willy Wonka. They were like, "Oh, this guy should have played young Willy Wonka," and it's like, yeah, but does everything have to be a callback to like the other
No,
movies?
I don't
No.
think so.
It's like Brandon Routh. We cast him because he looks just like Christopher Reeves. It's like
Yeah.
that is worse, actually.
yeah.
No, I heard he improved in the Crisis on Multiple Earths program though.
CW, yeah.
Oh,
Everyone's
well,
doing a
that's
really
they gave
good
him- they gave him
Julio
the,
Iglesias
they gave him the
impression
Kingdom
here.
Come. They gave him the Kingdom Come Superman symbol, which was like, ugh. Save that Kingdom Come Superman symbol for actual Kingdom Come if you ever make it, which I hopefully you don't.
Yeah.
And if you do it, make it animated. Just do an animated
John
version.
Cena.
So this is out at the cinemas in America. I don't think we've got it in the UK yet, do we?
No. To my knowledge,
Nah,
no.
probably not.
Right. Okay, but you guys recommend?
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
And what's crazy
like
is
Enzo said, you're gonna walk out just like feeling depressed.
Right.
No, that's not the thing. That's the thing I was gonna say.
I-
Is like the ending. I cried like it's like happy tears because it's very beautiful at the end. That's what makes it kick off. Because like it's like tragedy after tragedy
Whoa,
after
what's going on
tragedy.
Yeah.
And
That
then at
was
the end,
happening with this picture. This is like a Spinal Tap
showing
photo.
off leg day.
Yeah.
Dude, I
clearly.
saw a picture
back
of
to
Chris
11.
Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth walking his daughter, and the joke was his daughter's or his son's dressed like Superman, and he's like looking at the camera, disapproving, like, "Oh, I'm Thor, and my son likes Superman." But his legs, they look like little matchsticks. Like he does not do leg day at all.
Those constant
Chris
jokes
Hemsworth.
about Chris
Is
Hemsworth.
this a picture of Zac Efron with the guy he's playing in the movie?
Oh no.
I don't think so. No, that's got to be
No?
one of the other wrestlers.
No, the guy he's playing is like in his late 50s now. I think pushing 60.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He has really come across those and acts as Zac Efron. I mean, because I remember back in college, he used to annoy me because he was still the High School Musical kid, and all the kids would be fucking singing the High School Musical stuff. But now look at what he's doing now. He's killing it. He really is.
Yeah, I mean, at some point he clearly turned to his agent and said, "Look, no more teen heartthrob movies, no more rom-coms.
Yeah.
The darker the script, the better. I want
it's not even
three.
true.
I
He's
want
just
three
like-
dark castings in the next 12 months, or you're fired."
Well,
He's a very
even
funny
the
guy as
Baywatch-
well.
The Baywatch movie was actually very funny and stupid, and The Rock was great. But Zac Efron, he was really like he kind of stole the show in that movie. And also,
Yeah,
that was the
he's
first
got good
time
comic
seeing-
timing.
That was the first time you saw Zac Efron, and he's like looking ridiculously jacked. It was like, what the heck?
Watch him
Yeah,
sing.
I remember watching that.
Watch him saying,
He's
if you
a
look at
little
if you look at Baywatch versus this, they said for this he only gained like 15 pounds of muscle because he was already in such great shape from previous roles. Like, some people think, oh, the guy put on 30 pounds. He's been in great shape for the past 5-6 years now.
He looks like that dude who eats like raw beef testicles and all that stuff. You know that crazy guy with the beard. His abs are like
fucking,
that dude's.
the damn
They look like-
liver king.
You mean
Liver
Bear
King.
Grylls? You mean Bear Grylls?
No, the Liver King. He's a phony gym bro who everyone
Yeah.
found out he does steroids. Surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean now.
He makes disgusting YouTube videos of like, all right, here's what we do. And he takes like a raw liver and puts it in a bowl and like a big bull testicle and puts it in a bowl.
Yeah, and just
adds
eats
like
it
a bunch of milk on top of it, just
Yeah.
eats it raw with like maple syrup and he acts like it's good. It's disgusting.
Well,
yeah,
I
he's
feel
going to be getting the shits. He is.
Yeah.
Fucking
I,
full
I,
poison.
I feel we should
Strongest
move on to a
body.
different topic at this time.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So, Bastard, what have you seen in the last week? Anything worth shout out to?
Mostly just trying to catch up on films I missed from last year. I watched Sound of Freedom, which was really fucking brilliant. It was it really is every bit as good as everyone's making out to be.
Yeah, it was a good film. I really enjoyed it. I watched it.
Yeah.
I watched it twice now. And,
It's harsh, but it didn't depress the fuck out of me as many people were saying it was, because it was about a guy just doing good. And there was that look on his face when he rescues all the kids in that island, and you can't help but feel happiness, pure happiness.
I did some digging on that to find out what happened to that woman who basically was, being the front.
Oh, the Miss
of it.
Universe.
Yeah, Miss Universe. Yeah, for was she for the Bahamas or somewhere like that, wherever it was, and she went down for it. She went to prison, but I think she's already out. I think she's already out, and I was so angry when I read that, and I thought, oh, okay, right, so she's a pretty girl, so she gets released early, does she?
Yeah, that's depressing.
It is a bit,
man.
but
You'd be surprised how far it gets in prison, especially if it's like your first time in.
yeah, let's not go there. So, yeah, but no, good film if people haven't seen it. That was one of my recommendations for 2023. I'd definitely put it in the top 10 feature films that I saw in 2023. There's not a big competition list for that to qualify for that list, but there were some good films. So what else apart from that one did you catch up on?
I did watch the Marvels.
Oh, you enjoyed
I know. Yeah, well, I enjoyed.
I can't bring myself to do it, man. I just can't.
Yeah, it's probably just for review purposes and that's it. But yeah, it really is bad. There's just nothing there. It's kind of a blur. I'm surprised I'll be able to even write anything down about it. It's that bad.
Was there anything in the film that was good? I mean, can you think of one thing where you'd go, yeah, that was good?
The cats were killed. That's it.
Brie Larson's pajamas.
Okay.
Yeah, she's gone too skinny for my liking. I remember when she had a little bit of meat on her, which was nice.
Yeah. Also, she has had enhancements, which can't condone.
Yeah. Also, one thing, could you clear this up for me? That part where Rambo goes to the other side of that universe collapsing thing. Did she have to do that, or did they just fucking put it in for the sake of having her get trapped?
What the hell are you talking about?
I mean, that's a cheap
right
way.
At the end.
That's a cheap way to get to the whole multiverse and X-Men universe. That's all. It's just their way of writing in the multiverse. Because how do you bring the X-Men into the current Marvel universe when mutants don't exist in current Marvel? That's how you bridge it. That's why.
Positive thing I can say about the Marvels is Beast at the end looked pretty dope. Looked just like Beast. Looked just like Beast from the show.
That is still perfect casting. That Kelsey Grammer as Beast. That is still brilliant.
I didn't like the CGI though.
Well, it was CGI,
Sorry, let me
but
just
it's like
jump in, guys.
And stuff. Hey.
Sorry, let me just jump in. RRT and Z, hit me up with a super chat for $5. That's going to pay for one portion of pasta. Thank you very much. Happy New Year, Lance and folks. Good to know that Enzo, Blue Collar Loser, and Northern Bastard are now a folk band. Hope it started well for you. It has. Just the fact that you have formed my 3 guests into a folk band has started it very well for me.
I mean,
and Happy New Year, RT. Happy New Year.
Our friend Lord Toxic is lurking in the house. We got to do that. We got to do that Shield special soon, my friend. We need to find a window. We need to find a window.
That's a show.
And I know Leroy's not a fan of the. He's not talking about the Shield there. I know he's not a fan of the
talking
Shield.
About Monarch. He wants me to see Monarch. I wanted to watch Monarch, but I was discouraged because I was getting ready for the Godzilla stream. I thought it'd be cool to watch it, but I didn't want to.
It's a big commitment.
75% of a show and find out it's going to end after the stream. So I figured I'd save it till early this year.
I told you guys I watched Shinzilla, right?
Yeah.
I just watched that.
Yeah, I watched it. I enjoyed it. It was a good.
That's one of my
fun
favorites.
Monster movie. It didn't make me want to watch all the other Godzilla movies that have been out in the last 10 years, but
it's definitely a standalone thing, and it's great, especially if you like these like post office documentary style dramas, because it's like that, but with like a huge radioactive lizard.
You know what? When I watched Shinzilla at the beginning, I was like, have I watched the right movie? Because as soon as it came out and looks like a bloody salamander, I was like, wait a minute, that's not the Shin Godzilla I've been seeing on the posters.
Godzilla's pretty divisive in that one.
But he did evolve later, and I was like, yeah, I got the right one. Good.
But yeah, I do need to watch Monarch just cause, but I'm hearing a lot of mixed things. I'm in a bunch of Godzilla fan pages, and Basically, if you're under the expectation that there's probably about 15 minutes worth of monsters in the entire show, then you'll probably be all right. Because I think
Kent Russell's good, mate, as
Well,
always.
before we turn to a couple of questions in the chat, Enzo, what about you? Taking aside your 18-hour mega stream on Godzilla films.
Of course, that was
What else?
2 weeks ago.
Anything new? Anything new you've seen?
Yeah, I watched Dream Scenario because me and Luke are going to talk about it, and I like
Nicolas
it a lot.
Cage.
That was a good one. That really
You know
was.
what? I really liked that film.
I gotta make a video.
It reminded me. It was like a metaphor. It kind of reminded me of like Louis C.K.'s story. And we'll get into this on Luke's stream about it. But yeah, it had like very like metaphor for cancel culture kind of vibes. Or
I was
getting
thinking
Weinstein.
Yeah,
like some kind of Bob Weinstein type character, you know, like. But the idea is like, Nicolas Cage is in everyone's dreams, and it's weird. He's just kind of standing there, and everyone's noticing this phenomenon. And it's like thousands and thousands of people. They're like, no, they know there's a random man in their dreams, and it doesn't take long for them to figure out who the man is. And next thing you know, he's like a celebrity. And then it starts getting really, really weird. And I thought it was a Charlie Kaufman movie, but it's not. It's it's like Ari Aster produced it, and some new guy wrote and directed it.
But it's the same team behind adaptation, I think.
No, it's actually the A24 Ari Aster people. So it's the dude who made he produced the producer is the same guy who did Hereditary and Midsummer and
I love this bit when they come to interview him, and but at this point he's written a book about his experience, so that he wants to be taken seriously as a professor for his main area of interest.
But the God King won't.
And
it's also like a great great.
They make him wear this Freddy glove. They make him wear this Freddy glove for the.
You're the dude in the dreams, man. It's like that.
And he doesn't want to put it on. He's like, I don't want to put this on. And he said, but it's gonna look good. So then he's just like posing there, looking really fucked off.
That's the thing. It's like he wants to be famous for evolutionary biology, which is what he studies. And Michael Cera is like, okay, here's what we got. We're gonna have you do a Sprite commercial, and he's like, no, I want to advertise my book about and it's like, it's kind of like viral fame, like when you get famous for something weird that you did. Like if I got famous because I got into a fight at the bar or an airport, and then like I'm getting interviewed somewhere, and I'm like, oh, check out my YouTube channel, like, oh, you guys, it's like trying to, like, I don't know, ride the curtails of like some kind of fame that some people do. I don't know. There's a lot to unpack here. I definitely need to watch it a few times to see.
It's a really similar tale to that documentary about that guy who was like a stoner skateboard kid with big frizzy hair who got filmed either stopping somebody from getting assaulted or helping some guy out.
Oh, I know.
And he kind of rode on the fame off the back of that.
Hitchhiker guy.
The hitchhiker hatchet guy or something. And then later on, it turned out he was actually the person who attacked the person in the first place.
And he later murdered someone with a hatchet.
That'd
be a good movie.
I mean that's begging to be made by the.
Also, Leroy. Michael Cera was one of the highlights in this movie. In fact, all three of these people were great.
Yeah, Gord King was really good in this film. I've already told him it's one of his best roles. The lady on the left, Kate Berlant.
Yeah,
I love the side plot with her about she has a dream. That's
we're laughing. I was laughing.
So
the experience of her life, and she tries to recreate it with him.
Right. So that for me felt kind of like the inciting incident, because after that everything takes this like Louis C.K. Weinstein route, and that's why that's what I think like that scene specifically, I think is like really trying to like communicate something, because it kind of reminds me of like Groupies. I was talking about it last night on my channel, because there's a band is a guy. His band name is called Part Time. He's from El Paso, where I'm from. He's a little younger than me, but he got Me Too'd. But like that's the thing, is like a lot of these artists like Pretty Lights and this guy Part Time, they got Me Too'd because they were basically like banging 18, 19-year-old groupies. but it's like consensual text messages being sent back and forth. And the idea is like he's just being creepy because he's macking on these young girls, who are legal, but still he's like older and it's not appropriate, and he's taking advantage of his like celebrity status. But the idea is like if you see a picture of this guy from part-time, he looks kind of like, he's like Nicolas Cage, but no beard and uglier, bald. He's a greasy looking dude. And it's like, these are the kind of guys that get into bands so they can get chicks. And it's like, I'm not really trying to condone or condemn, but the idea is like retroactively, it's like, hey, this person did this. And then other people kind of like, yeah, he was weird to me too. Cause like, I don't know.
No, I thought that kind of narrative.
Kind of what this movie's hinting about. Yeah, this movie's kind of got that kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's a very smart movie though. Despite, I like it when movies use weirdness to be very smart and thought provoking. And Nicolas Cage.
I don't think it's necessarily smart as much as it's thought provoking, because it could be a very dumb movie that's very surface level, like intentions on how they make it, but like you leave it purposely weird and vague like this, and people maybe the director had none of that stuff in mind, and we're just extrapolating our own data.
I think that was my favorite subplot for the entire film, is that how the price of fame, because people, it's like that whole thing with Green Goblin told Spider-Man, he's like, what do people love more than to watch a hero fall? And like, in people, all it takes is one wrong YouTube video, quote, clip, something, and how fucking quick people will turn on you. And Nicolas Cage goes through that in that film.
Yeah, I mean, I Leroy's saying that he's a strong supporter of the Me Too movement, and look, a lot of us are, and I would include myself in that. But there was an actor, and I don't want to mention his name because it will just bring it up for him again, who he got, a British actor got him in, as part of the momentum of that, suddenly had several accusations against him. I mean, there were more than one actually, but this particular individual had, it was there were 3 or 4 women, and somebody did an article on it in a newspaper, and he had a TV comedy series on the BBC. So this is not Noel Clarke I'm talking about, for anyone who's wondering, and that series was cancelled, and they had 2 more seasons of it lined up, so it was cancelled. He had 2 other films lined up, they were cancelled. All of these allegations turned out to be without any merit whatsoever. They were basically girls who'd had one-night stands with him because he was a famous actor, and it was all proven to be consensual. And people are drawn to fame, and people sometimes sleep with people because they're famous, and sometimes they want that person. I'm not talking about Harvey Weinstein here, okay? I'm talking about other people, young people. And this is the same with the music industry. And sometimes people hope that they're going to go on to have a relationship with that person, and that person's profession is in a very transient state, and sometimes it's quite unlikely. So, people lie about shit. People lie to get attention, and these things happen. In addition to people do evil things and should be held to account for it. So you have to judge every case on its merit, and there are legal processes for exactly this reason. And this guy had his whole career destroyed. People have only just started working with him again. In fact, he's in a film of a friend of mine, which I'm looking forward to reviewing on the channel. And and I mean, the guy nearly killed himself, all of it was dropped. So, there's good and bad eggs on every side of that argument.
Well, it's like Louis C.K. Louis C.K. came forward and said, "I'm sorry," and then we found out what he did, and we're like, "That's not what he's doing." It sounds
it's
embarrassing, but it's not that. Yeah, it's like he's not really breaking any laws or anything. I mean, I don't know.
That's what I thought. What Dream Scenario made it even worse. Is like, okay, Louis C.K. what he did was, for some people, questionable and weird, but you kind of it's strange. But Nicolas Cage in the film, it's even worse because people are accusing him of things that he has no freaking control about. What you dream, it's like, if I have a dream that Enzo stabs me, do I blame Enzo or call the cops on Enzo because my dream was Enzo?
If I was your girlfriend, I would. That's what girlfriends do. In my dream.
Tune in next week to see if Enzo does in fact become Blue Collar's girlfriend. We'll let you know if. Okay, let's move on, I want to change the subject because I try to avoid the social political stuff here.
Well, yeah, the movie was good and weird.
Leroy's recommended another film called Chevalier 2022, starring Kelvin Harrison Jr., which I didn't see, about a black musician back in the day. Also starring Samara Weaving, who I think is Hugo Weaving's daughter. Is that right? I think she's Hugo Weaving's daughter.
Maybe.
Yeah. She's Australian as well. So,
hello.
Has anyone seen this movie?
No, I saw trailers for it when it first came out, and
heard of it.
Haven't saw around it. Yeah, it's a British film, right? Or is this Hollywood?
I am not sure. Kelvin
British,
Harrison,
I'm not reckoning.
Jr. isn't he American? Minnie Driver is also in the cast. Lucy Boynton. So you've got some pretty good quality actors here. Reminds me of Bridgerton, but with violins.
Okay.
So true story though, might be worth checking out. Leroy, next time you're on the channel, remind me and we'll bring it up again and you can tell us a bit more about it, and I may well have seen it by then.
What else? I feel like
okay, so I had a question. I had a question to put to everyone from David Macy, which I think is a good one for us to answer. In turn, the Outcast Creative, what would be yours and the guests' New Year's resolutions if you were to make one? Well, I'm going to go last. So, Blue Collar Loser, what?
I should say drink less, but that's not going to happen. So,
yes, and perhaps some realistic choices.
I'll just hitting the gym more. You know, it's like I've been hitting the gym, but not as hard as I want to. I mean, I can't get in the Zac Efron shape, but I do want to, trim down some more. But that's it, because spending so much time driving, spending so much time doing streams. Human beings aren't meant to sit down in a chair for 8 to 12 hours a day. Our bodies are meant to move. Simple as that. So I want to, do more jogging, more pull-ups, things like that. Just try to get in better shape. Pretty simple. Enzo.
Oh yeah, I guess I'll go next. Well, I mean, I would just basically on YouTube's get some more subs. Always appreciate it. Maybe make it up to 1,000 someday. Right now I'd be happy to get it up to 400 or 500. Get some more views on my Wii watches.
Yes.
If you guys like Mystery Science Theater style nonsense, that's kind of what I'm doing. Make some more shorter videos. And then also in work, get some bigger poster jobs. Have some fun. Work for some bigger bands. Same stuff every year, basically. Make more money, make some money, and hustle, and get some better, more viewers. Have some people sharing the laughs some more on these streams. Also, get on some bigger streams. That'd be fun. Get on some big channels. Say hello.
Mate, you're on a big one now. I've just hit 3,000 subs.
I was gonna,
I know.
Yeah, the big 3K.
The sky's the limit.
Yeah, the big three.
I want to get on the Jack Show one day, or
By the way, interesting to note that the producer of the movie Chevalier, the one we were just talking about, Stefani Robinson, is actually also the main producer on What We Do in the Shadows, the TV series, and she's one of the producers on the last season of Fargo, the 2020 season, or maybe last but two. So a good producer, Stefani Robinson. Love to get her on the channel for an interview sometime. Anyway, so Enzo, good choice. I should have asked you first. That would have given me more time to have a wee when I dashed out. I could hear I was running out of steam. I was thinking, my God, 3 more shakes to go, and I'll get back in there.
I won't be like, hey guys, I want to hit 20,000 subs this year, like something unrealistic like that. Like, hey, if it happens, I'm like Enzo, where the subs come in when they come in. Whenever I hit 3,000,
I'm here to this right here. This is what I'm doing YouTube for. Interact with these fine people. And yes, the more people watching, the more the merrier, obviously. But
I mean, I'll definitely kiss Lance's ass. I'm like Enzo, where I like hanging out with people I like versus like, say someone's like, hey, I have 20,000 subs, but I can't stand them. I don't want to go on a
If it was-
channel first, you know.
If it was
no,
just
I'm
the
not.
four of us, if it was just the four of us at a private Discord doing this, I would still enjoy
Yeah.
doing this stuff.
Oh
You know what
yeah,
I mean, I don't care.
I have no
Yeah.
interest in going on anyone's channel who I have no interest in. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of getting attention or whatever. I know some
I
people
just
do
like
that.
nerding out with the bros.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
Playing
So,
Predator Bongos.
Northern Bastard, apart from conquering Southern England, what are your ambitions, goals for 2024?
I knew Mike.
Well, I am. Yeah, get a new mic. Well, I am actually hoping to get 1K
figure out
subs,
what you're
maybe
doing.
more. But apart from that, maybe do some more stuff this year with the wife. We didn't really get a chance to do more days out.
Stop doing
Hmm.
this shit.
What
That's our first. Less of this stuff. That
Yeah,
I'm going to try and cut back a little bit because I want to do more content as well. I like doing movie reviews.
it's
Maybe I
hard
might
to
do some more
juggle.
game reviews. I might do more game reviews. Maybe more TV reviews. Who knows?
yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt you've all had a chance to pop into my grippingly exciting Lance takes on the battles of the American Civil War streams. And I fought Gettysburg the other day and lost, and then I was like, what? So then I redid it and won appropriately. But I'm going to play it after this stream. But I'm going to play it as the South this time and see if I can win the day. I'm definitely not going to be doing Longstreet's charge up the middle of a very well defended line in the open in front of a ton of cannon and musket fire. Well, my goal was actually to hit 5,000 subs for last year, but it was clear that wasn't going to happen probably around November, and also I was ill and I had to cancel a whole load of shit. So,
Yeah.
but I
3,000's
was
good
very.
too.
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3,000's good too. How many did you have
No,
at the beginning of the year?
hey, I hadn't finished, man. God, this guy always interrupts me. What's that mute button? There we go. Right. So, yeah. So, basically, I was about to say, but I hit 3K, which I was very happy with. Enzo took the words out of my mouth there. So, yeah, it was. That was actually, and I mean, I know that's really hard. So that was quite a good goal. I've partly got Drinker to thank for that, for giving me numerous shout outs, but not just that, but also collaborating. A lot of my subs have come through collaborating with other people. And then, occasionally I'll get a little big boost up of a couple of hundred here and there. But
when exactly did you hit 3K? Because I know you were close
today.
Like last, today. Oh shit.
Yeah,
Nice.
I actually hit 3K on New Year's Eve, but then I wasn't watching at the time. Somebody posted a picture of it, but then YouTube did that seasonally adjusted figures again.
Yeah.
Well, it's normal. What happens is, I know why it does that, because like someone will subscribe, but then they don't watch anything, so then it'll take that sub away, and then it'll come back a day or two later.
Yeah,
it's a weird little glitch.
Yeah, so basically, well, it's probably designed by the same people that designed Horizon for the post office. So, but anyway, I hit it today. I think I'm on 3,002. So I need to stretch out a bit further so I don't drop below 3K again. That would be my primary goal. I mean, in terms of New Year's resolutions, I'm probably gonna cut down my alcohol drinking by about 50%. So the opposite of what Blue Collar's goals are.
Listen, I will make it up for you. Okay. So
yeah, cool. I'll ship my 50% over to you. And it's not that I'm a big drinker. I'm not really. But I just think I just want to cut down a little bit. So don't want a glass of wine with like every meal, which is, I was kind of in that headspace probably for most of, I think about 2/3 of 2023. And I need to save money. I'm focusing on creative projects that I know I can achieve. So in addition to the various things I'll be doing on the YouTube channel, I've got my 2 books. One of them is a game book, Choose Your Own Adventure. If you guys have ever heard of those before. And I've got some software called Twine, which is a writing software that's designed especially for people who want to design their own choose your own adventure books. So I'm doing one called Airborne. See, what I'm going to do is I want to do something that hasn't been done before, because you've got Fighting Fantasy and Lone Wolf, which I've been playing on my stream. So I'm doing this thing called Airborne Soldier Arnhem, and I'm doing a game book set in the Battle of Arnhem. So this is just like literally the first few pages of the book, and each one of these is a different number that link to different things. And what's going to be really interesting is, because it's a historical World War II choose your own adventure, you'll be able to not only interact with different people that were really there, but you'll also be able to potentially change history and turn the course of the battle. So I've got to invent a combat system and things like that. But so Airborne Soldier Arnhem is going to be one of my big book projects for 2024. I'm already writing a horror film for a feature film,
Nice.
which I think the working title of that is going to be Repent. It's only the third horror I've written, and the other two were optioned but never made. So I think this one will get made.
Yeah.
And then I've got my novel, The Tweet, which is about cancel culture, and might as well be a Ricky Gervais stand-up novel. But
never know.
That's going to be that's a novel that I've got to be in the right headspace to write. I'm due to do the third book for Diamonds in the Sky, but I haven't been able to get back into that novel series since my divorce. So I'm hoping eventually I'll get there. But books are difficult. You can't just sit down and say, I'm going to write a chapter today.
Yeah.
If you're not feeling it,
Yeah,
it ain't there.
My Renfield video.
Yeah, I mean, you need to do a lot of planning.
waiting for that.
that's just fucking magnum opus.
It'll come. Yeah, I mean, I
Renfield.
want to work on a vampire graphic novel, but like, I don't know. Like, I was hoping to have more subs by the end of this year, and I was hoping like next year. Yeah, I don't know if I get more fans and people asking for it. Yeah, but I mean, but I guess I'll just keep working on the book until everyone's ready for it. But I mean, if I only got 300 subs, I ain't gonna really like try to start selling these people anything just yet. I mean,
that reminds me, I'm interviewing a graphic novel guy. Just a little guy who's got an Indiegogo campaign up. The name of the book series, I don't know if it was one of you guys that introduced me to this individual. It was somebody else somebody plugged him, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to give that guy a shout out.
on Diabolical Souls channel, Jay.
I'm on Diabolical Souls channel tomorrow night after doing the Dennis McGuire interviews. We got that tomorrow. I've got loads of stuff coming up for YouTube, but these are not really New Year's resolutions as such. So also want to meet a lovely lady and fall in love. That would be a good thing to happen. So this is Jason Sandberg is doing this. I'll share this quickly. He is doing a graphic novel called Jupiter. I don't know anything about it. This is his X page, Twitter. I can't get used to calling it X. And this is his some of his kind of wacky stuff he's done for the thing. And I got chatting to him. I like the style of his art. He's a really nice guy. So I said, you know what? Why don't you come on my channel and talk about your comic? Because that's what my channel's for. It's for promoting the work of creative people. So David has reminded me that I'm doing a special show on the new version of Shogun coming up pretty soon. I'm also going to be reviewing the old version of Shogun with Richard Chamberlain, which I've been watching, which has been quite painful to watch at times. It is very, very old. Leroy, I haven't checked out I've checked out your other books. I haven't checked out your newest book yet. I will do my best, but I'm a bit busy with a million things. There's not enough hours in the day at the moment.
No, not for all of us.
And I struggle a bit as well. It's like I've got a limited window of energy, And I know once
Yeah.
I've gone past that window, anything constructive that I'm going to get done is fairly menial.
We're quickly approaching content overload where like there's so many movies and so many shows, and then we're putting out our own damn shows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like how do and
Yeah.
then music. How do we how do you keep track of all the music out there these days, all the movies? It's impossible.
That's
Yeah.
one area where I've really fallen down is I just don't follow my introduction to music back in the day was always through movie soundtracks,
True.
which I've kind of stopped buying now. So
A few soundtracks stick out to me here and there, but they're mostly scores. It's very
Yeah,
rare.
yeah.
Like the Holdovers was one of the first time like a soundtrack was actually like on point, but it's like mostly Christmas songs. And,
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I listen to a lot of good music, new music, because I'm always on YouTube just listening to random stuff when I'm working. But it's hard to like keep track of all the stuff,
And not many films do traditional scores anymore. There's not a James Horner out there, doing the old score. I want Howard Shore to do more soundtracks and stop living on the
too
beach.
minimalist.
What did he do recently?
I was saying the scores are too minimalist these days, like they'll
Well,
have
everybody's blending them with sound design. Everyone's blending them with sound design, and that's fine for certain movies. But I don't want it in every film. I don't want it.
Here's every drama soundtrack right here. Just like it's always like some kind of like rhythmic droning, like the Hans Zimmer stuff,
Oh, dude, I've just had a copyright flag come in for you humming that tune.
Hell yeah!
This video is going to be
Did it.
taken.
I made it.
Hans Zimmer Studios have recognized it. Blue Collar CSL Studios. Welcome to the channel, by the way, mate. I think you said it's your first time here.
Thank you.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah,
I see him tonight.
That's Thanks for coming in. The Gladiator soundtrack. My ex-wife walked down the aisle to that music, right on the na, 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 na bit,
What were some good soundtracks? But like as far as like other new music, like there's some good bands out there, but they're like, especially when you talk about mainstream stuff. Like I don't know, man. Some of your favorite bands might get on one of the late shows here and there. I'm really liking Always a lot and Washed Out.
Always isn't that a movie with Richard Dreyfuss and Holly Hunter?
Yeah, but Always the band is spelled with 2 V's and it's a chick band. Molly something or other is the singer. That's a good band. And
this is
who else?
I love this title, Leroy. I'm just going to give Leroy's new book a plug. And the funny thing is, this is also the title for when I'm in Enzo's company and he's just eaten a very spicy curry. Downwind of Trouble.
No, man. Actually, you're probably safer next to me because I have an iron cast stomach. If you're next to someone who's not used to eating that kind of stuff, then maybe they'll diarrhea themselves.
Could be a blue collar loser situation.
I love ethnic food. My body can handle it.
I think this is Leroy's website, or it's certainly the people that publish his books.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of and he does westerns, very much westerns. So do check him out.
Also, speaking of comic books, there's also a couple of these. What's the name of the guy that Leroy writes about? Boss.
There we go. Straight to the sun. There's Leroy's The Frontier, Book 1. So Leroy,
they've been making comic books about that sheriff that Leroy writes about. Bass
Reeves. Yeah.
Bass Reeves. Thank you. There've been some comic books coming out around the same time. Also, hey, Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie is now public domain, and
I heard about that.
There's already like 2 movie trailers, and
guys, there's already a horror film being made.
Yeah, I've seen it. I saw the poster.
I saw it. I saw it on Facebook earlier today.
I've seen a bunch of offensive web comics with Steamboat Willie doing like horrendous. The most offensive stuff you could think of.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I can think of some pretty offensive things, so I dread to think what's going on there.
It's pretty racy.
Let's have a look at this Mickey Mouse
Steamboat Willie.
poster, if I can
I think maybe next Monday, maybe I'll put we'll do the Steamboat Willie stream, and we'll just put Steamboat Willie everywhere, and I'll put him on the thumbnail, and like
That'd be funny.
Haha, burn in hell, motherfucker! Haha.
yeah, Steamboat Willie.
Fucking
That's
Luke's
that's a good
accents.
impression. So we've already got
Yeah.
PC Gamer did an article about this today, and there's already. I mean, they must have been working on these things. There's
Yeah,
already
they're
an
waiting
infestation
Oh
origin.
yeah, they were waiting.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse trap
Midnight.
film teaser trailer. And there's those 2 horror movies and a
in the
game.
public domain, didn't you?
Yeah. So Mickey. So it's not just Steamboat Willie. They can actually do stuff with Mickey Mouse as well.
Technically, yes. As long as he has the
man.
Steamboat Willie design with the little hat.
I mean, it's interesting that Disney are probably pulling their hair out.
Oh my
over
god, yeah.
I know,
But that's
this
the
is
thing
their
the Winnie
main
the Pooh
mascot.
movie. The Winnie the Pooh movie was really dumb, and well, that's why they don't want Steamboat Willie, or sorry, yeah, they don't want him to be in the public domain because he's their mascot. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
I'd love
honestly,
to be
he should have been in the public domain like 60 years ago. They just keep pushing it back over and over again, and it's like finally.
I'd love to be at the emergency board meeting where they're having
Yeah.
a crisis management, meeting about it. What are we going to do? And should we bring out our own brand of Mickey Mouse horror films and,
That's the twist.
put big money into them.
Disney's actually
yeah.
producing these crappy Steamboat Willie horror movies. That's like the twist, like secretly through some shell corporation.
So
It wouldn't
I
surprise me.
have news on. We're going to be doing another parody review about one of Jim Henson's greatest pieces of work. Looking forward to working on this with Enzo and coming up with some fantastically wacky pictures
God almighty.
for the stream. We will be reviewing Jim Henson's The Thing.
This I could do. I could not do like Showgirls. Pixar is going to be tricky because of the copyright, or sorry, not copyright, the parental filters on the
That is
AI
perfect.
stuff.
Oh my god.
But yeah, we could definitely do Muppets in Antarctica fighting a shape-shifting creature.
Yeah, well, I definitely want to a picture of Mr. Snuffleupagus piloting a spaceship. So get your thinking cap on for that one. But
Okay.
sorry, let me get that image back up.
We'll say Jim Henson made a parody movie of The Thing, a remake of The Thing in the late 80s.
I feel this is the Muppet movie that we don't know that we really need, and it'll be our job to inform the public of this discussion. Now, Leroy, the people that come on this stream with me and Uninspired, it's me and Uninspired that do this, apart from Enzo running the technicals, are the guests who worked on the film. So I've already got the producer coming on. You see, this is also produced by the same producer who did Martin Weir's Napoleon. So he's really looking forward to talking about. I forget his name, but he'll be coming back on. We've got one of the special effects people who obviously got involved in legal battles for putting pyrotechnics up one of the Muppets' rear and exploding the Muppets' stomach.
Rob Bottin came back and served as a technical consultant for the makeup effects.
Yeah. So we'll be
Imagine
getting Rob.
Kermit saying these lines, though. Imagine Kermit saying these lines. Yeah, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Oh, I mean, maybe it'll be possible for us to recreate one of the scenes from the film. Let's see. Anyway, this is going to be a fun parody. I think we're going to do it towards the end of February. So look forward to doing that. It's going to be absolutely hilarious. Is anyone going to go and see any of the horror Disney Mickey Mouse ripoffs?
No.
Well, probably will for a laugh.
Really?
Might need some booze, though.
I will not be going to the cinema to watch it. I mean, they're just going to be like, what's that company that rips off all the big movies with Asylum? It's going to be like an Asylum.
Yeah. Like I said before, I like when the movies are trying to be good and they just happen to be terrible. Like when they're
Yeah.
trying to be terrible, it just lacks that I don't know, that heart, you know?
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Neil Breen.
Neil
Neil
Breen.
That was the joke.
So we definitely have to do a Neil Breen. We definitely have to do a Neil Breen.
Dude, yeah, I was
special.
talking about we watched Full Eclipse, me and Uninspired Reviewer, which is that Mario Van Peebles werewolf cop movie. And we were commenting on the slow motion, how well it's done. Especially compared to like Rebel Moon, which we watched, by the way, which is terrible. And then you know, the slow motion so done so amazingly in that movie. And then also another thing was like a lot of great blocking and camera work in random like conversation scenes. It's like a made for HBO werewolf movie, and yet it's so engaging. And I remember Uninspired said, like, yeah, Neil Breen can learn a thing or two from this movie. And I was like, Neil Breen should learn like 1,000 things. He needs to learn so much. He does everything.
I can't believe you committed suicide.
I love it,
can't
Leroy.
believe.
Leroy's like, I almost forgot about that Mario Van Peebles werewolf movie. Yeah, it's almost like an X-Men ripoff because like they grow like Wolverine claws and Wolverine sideburns and go like kill dudes wearing like Wolverine clothes. It's funny.
Well, I mean, I'd be tempted to get Neil Breen to come on the stream because I've got 18 friends in common with him on Facebook, including the DJ that was at the nightclub that I went to for New Year's Eve. Appears to be a friend of his. I mean, I wonder how many of these people have actually met him in real life, and did they get to go up in his spaceship? That's what I really want to know. So, yeah, and there's a couple of director friends of mine that are friends of his, a couple of actors, Cynthia Curran, Albert Poon's wife is also a friend of his. So I'm going to ask, but I'd be a bit scared about getting Neil Breen on the stream. Those eyes, I feel like it would be a Medusa situation. I'd need to wear some sort of protective visor, you know.
Wear sunglasses. Don't look at him. Only look at him through like a reflection, you know, like of a shield.
Otherwise, I feel you might be like captivated by some sort of strange hypnotism and forced to wear a really unpleasant thong in one of his movies or something. So who knows? But yeah, Neil Breen. Well, we'll see. Anyway, Jim Henson's the thing. It's happening. So Enzo, plenty of time because February will probably do this. So
Yeah, I'm working on a couple. I'm working on a couple of stills right now.
Ah, fantastic. Maybe we can have one by the end of the stream.
Maybe.
Bender says, my guess is Disney is having many emergency board meetings. I bet they bloody well are. I bet they are indeed. So thanks to Keith popping out.
Hey, buddy.
Leroy almost forgot about the Mario Van Peebles werewolf movie. I haven't actually seen that film.
Full Eclipse. It's awesome. Check it out. It was like Warlock the Armageddon. Like we watched it to make fun of it and ended up just loving it. It was sick.
I mean, was it actually like quite enjoyable fun?
Dude, there's a part where so it starts off with like Mario Van Peebles and his partner, and you think, okay, they're gonna get attacked by drug dealing werewolves or something, and they both become werewolves. No, it turns out that the partner gets like gunned down, and then like a secret LAPD branch of like werewolf cops, they like accidentally inject the homie with like werewolf serum. And then he's all better the next day. He's like spinning his gun around like after being shot 6 times. And he's like, let's go catch some bad guys. And then he's like jumping on cars, like running on the ceiling in slow motion of all these cars and stuff. It's amazing. Chasing bad guys. We were riveted, totally on the edge of our seats.
I'm
silly towards the end.
I've heard of something similar. I've heard of something similar called was it Wolf Cop?
Oh yeah, Wolf Cop was a little campier. This was like kind of obviously there's a lot of metaphors to like Serpico and also drug. Say no to drug. Heavy like heroin style like metaphor. You know, the idea of like using the serum.
Yeah.
You come down, it gives you like a boost, and then you have like side effects and stuff. It was very a product of the time. The just say no.
I love the presumably this is some kind of top dog bad guy in his mansion, and I love the way very subtle, heavy. You know, they've normally got a pistol in a holster, but no, this guy's just casually holding an M16 assault rifle. You know, never go around the house without one. Okay, there's a sequence, a recreation of Heat there.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, I like that shirt.
Also very 90s. Yeah, very early 90s. Yeah. We thought this girl on the left was Lark Voorhees from Saved by the Bell, but it's actually the FBI lady from Dumb and Dumber. We're like, oh, of course.
she's been in a few things.
She's been in a few. Yeah, a lot of
like a scene from Police Academy.
It's a very dumb werewolf movie, but for some reason, like there's just so much extra detail spent in like the shooting of this movie. It looks amazing. Like this scene right here. There's like a part where he gets like awarded some kind of medal, and he's like, he knows there's like a truth about like some werewolf cops, and he's very discouraged. And like the whole thing is like an amazing like crane shot where the camera comes all the way down. It goes right up to the front of the podium. It's all one take. Then he comes down. Then he has a discussion with some other cop. And then the camera like pans back up another crane shot as he leaves. It's all one take. It's like, why did you do that? Like, what was the point?
What I want to know is there a female werewolf hiding under the podium?
No, but there are two foxy werewolf chicks, and the brunette is the same chick from Werewolf the Armageddon. And
oh my god,
like,
that's
from Passenger 57.
Passenger 57 B movie bad guy. If you can't get, you know, if you can't get a movie bad guy, you couldn't get if Rutger Hauer wasn't available, then you got this guy.
He replaced Julian Sands in the Warlock movies in Warlock 3, and he also was in Howling Part 6. He's the vampire circus guy. Oh man, good stuff, guys. Good fun movie.
This does actually look like quite a lot of fun. I think I definitely have to watch.
It was a blast. It was a blast. Well, like I said, they got a wee watch coming out in about a week or two, so that'll be fun.
I'll have to do a watch party.
Uninspired viewer was on that one. Let's see. I'm having trouble getting actual Muppets in the frame here. It seems to be good at making disgusting thing monsters. Let's see.
Well, I'm sure we'll get there. You can always create Muppets for a variety of scenarios, but I know who I want the cast to be. Yeah. You've definitely got to have Beaker in there, and you know the little professor guy. That's obviously the character played by
Meep.
Much better now. I want to come inside. Shit, what's that actor's name from Cocoon? Wilford Brimley.
Oh, I love him.
Wilford Brimley would be the bald Muppet with the spectacles, and his assistant Fuchs would be Beaker.
There you go.
So that's the two of them sorted. So you gotta have him, and you gotta have Beaker in there. I don't know about having Miss Piggy in the. I think Miss Piggy should be in a pen with other pigs, and that's like it takes over the dog sequence, maybe. Yeah, maybe they have a pen with pigs in. But yeah, it's I do love that. I don't know who created that poster, but it's fantastic.
Good stuff.
And I love the way that there's one human in this picture, which actually, if you look, I think it's Childs.
Yeah, Childs.
And the expressions on them all is pretty cool. I actually have an Outpost 31 hoodie. It's proper knackered now. It's so old, but I do still have it. David Macy's voting for Animal to be in the cast. That's a possibility. Yeah, so Animal must be the thing. I don't know about that. Patsy Kensit, yes, possibly not one of our finest acting exports, I would say. What does this film have on? What's its rating on IMDb? 5.4.
Yeah, I mean, it's campy for sure, but I liked it a lot. Let's see here.
Yeah, I remember keep talking about that. All these legendary films with the low ratings, you know.
Dean Norris from Breaking Bad is in it as well.
Oh yes,
Jason Beeg from Chicago PD. I love that show. That's a great show.
Another movie we watched that's coming out, I guess that's releasing tomorrow, is My Science Project, which I had never seen. I watched that with my cousin.
Oh, dude, that is like one of my favorite films of the 80s. That's the one with
Fisher Stevens and
Fisher Stevens,
Stockholm.
And it's got
Stockholm.
John Stockwell, as the lead.
Stockwell, there you go.
I forget the name of the love interest, and then Dennis Hopper's in it. It's such a good film.
That was fun.
Really, really, really good movie.
Was a lot of laughs to be had.
Yeah.
Those kids were really dumb in that movie. they're like, hey, let me show you this thing that breaks everything. Let me turn it on again and see. Oh, it broke everything around us. Okay.
I like it when you've got that group of kids that are all wearing stormtrooper masks and they go and vandalize that guy's car.
That was actually the first time that Disney had to pay for like Star Wars right usage, because they didn't own Star Wars at the time, so they needed permission. Very strange.
Have you just seen that movie for the first time?
Yeah, that was one of the first we watch recommendations back when I was first like collecting movies to watch, and a bunch of people were like, My Science Project, that's a great classic kids movie that we watched growing up. And I never seen it.
It did not get the release that it deserved. It went straight to video over here. There wasn't a big the one with Kelly, what's her name? Weird Science. People often get the two films confused.
No, one has Kelly LeBrock being sexy as hell. The other one does not.
Right, it has Danielle von Zernick. That's right. Raphael Sabaj, who is also in this movie, who was in Independence Day. In fact, here's a picture of him. He's also in Risky Business with Tom Cruise. He actually booked me for an acting session, because I'm an acting coach. And I missed his call by about 30 seconds. And I called him back and he'd booked somebody else. I was so upset.
Something that was weird about this movie was like all the ADR lines. Everyone's like ADR'd. And for some reason, like...
What, the whole way through?
Yeah, the whole movie's ADR'd pretty much. And like John Stockwell, his lines always kind of sound like this. Like no matter what he's saying, even if he's yelling, his voice just kind of sounds like he's about to cry, and he's kind of talking softly. It's weird.
Yeah, that was his style, though. He's now a director.
Good for him.
He's mainly a director. He was great in Christine, but Keith Gordon, who would later become my script.
Damn, we're gonna have to start drinking on this channel every time you bring up Keith Gordon. That's like the new thing. Because like
Keith Gordon was
I'm surprised you haven't got him on yet. I am surprised you haven't got him on yet. Has he?
He hasn't.
Oh, no.
Keith Gordon is a very, very non-interview guy.
Bummer.
And I even if I asked him to come on, I don't think he would, and I haven't. But just knowing him as I do, I don't want to ask him because I don't want him to feel awkward about having to say no.
That's fair play.
Right.
Yeah. But he's a genius.
Bit of a shame because I do love Christine. I think that's a really fucking underrated film, especially from
he should have been nominated for an Oscar for that performance.
He was. He's really good in it.
So much, bastard.
Sorry,
I'm just kidding. It's hard.
But he is so good in that film. I mean, how he starts off this as an awkward nerd to this really overconfident psychotic kid.
Now this prop, by the way, for the machine in My Science Project, that turned up in like so many other films.
You're talking about the entire prop? Oh yeah.
Yeah, it turned up in Star Trek: The Next Generation, I think. And it's been in a couple of other movies in the background. You can see it in like on tables of like sci-fi junk. And
we were joking about how like they show the big spaceship at the beginning, right? And it's just like a big spaceship with a gigantic plasma ball from Spencer's Gifts in the center. And then they're like, wouldn't it be funny if like the big contraption was just one of those plasma balls? And of course it was. That is, you get those at Spencer's Gifts. And I was just joking about how like now because of this movie on those plasma balls, like on the box, it has to say in fine print, like will not cause electrical disturbances, will not send you in time, does not cause temporal distortion. Do not. These plasma balls are obviously always in sci-fi movies doing crazy stuff.
This is pretty cool still of the mutants that they
Yeah.
meet up with at one point. But I never noticed in this scene that there's 2 lady mutants. Look in the
Yep.
bottom right-hand corner here.
And the kids killed them all brutally regardless.
I think, well, one of them's Michael Berryman on the left from
Oh,
The
really?
Hills Have Eyes. That's Michael Berryman right
I
there.
didn't know that.
Yeah. You can see it's him, but I know it's him. Right?
Poor guy's so typecast. He's always playing hideous freaks.
I'd love to get him on the channel, man. He'd be a great
Is he
interview.
alive?
He is still alive, yeah.
Oh my
He's still
God.
alive.
God
Or he
bless
was. He was last time I checked. Don't curse it. It'll be in the news tomorrow. But yeah. Apparently, he's a really lovely guy as well. I really like the tone of the humor in this film. I thought it was a really funny movie and a just really great.
Also, like a little PG-13 for kids, these days. Definitely a
Yeah.
little more for older kids. 12 and up kind of stuff. 13 and up.
Yeah, look,
But yeah,
they always took chances with the swearing, and sometimes would have a bit more violence in than most PG films, wouldn't they?
Oh.
Yeah, there's the great Richard
Luke's
Lezeur.
upset because I told him to stop swearing, and he's like, "We swear in Disney movies." My other car is a piece of S2.
Do any of you guys actually own this as your sticker on your car?
No, I would need to have 2 cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. I think that's part of the joke, though, isn't it? Oh my God, he's in it as well. That's Barry Corbin. I think he just passed away. The general in War Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in No Country for Old Men, and he's always he's always got like a big white like sheriff mustache and a cowboy hat.
Yeah, he's always playing cowboys or generals, basically, military types or sheriffs and that kind of thing. I haven't watched the film in a while, but isn't this his dad? And this is like dad's new girlfriend, and she's got her
like
own poster on the wall.
She sells cosmetics, so like the house is like filled with all of her cosmetic boxes and stuff.
Yeah. I
Fun
remember the
stuff.
dog.
Yeah.
This is a great movie, man. I remember this film being like I always did a top 10, and this was in my top 3 of that year. I just really, really liked it.
Fun stuff.
I watched.
You get to kill a troglodyte. Like a random caveman shows up and you beat him to death with clubs.
Jeez.
Yeah,
literal Nazis show up in the movie in the hallway. There's like 2.
Yeah, that was really cool. There's like Romans and it's like Roman.
Right, but what's crazy is there's 2 Nazis and they walk right past them and just be like, "Oh, cool." They don't even like react to them. They're just like, "Oh, this is weird."
Well, then they're not fully there, are they? They're kind of still transparent. They're kind of half
like
in, half out of the dimension.
Apparitions. Yeah.
So
that's a fun movie.
Yeah, no, good. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. My science project from 1980.
Well, if you haven't seen it, maybe check out the We Watch tomorrow. Premiere 2:30 on my channel.
Oh yeah.
So that's 2:30 tomorrow on your channel. Wicked.
Yep.
That's a good segue into guys. What do you have coming up? Because we're at the 2-hour mark, and I'm still getting over my pneumonia.
How are you feeling? you literally had pneumonia, right?
That's how I'm feeling. I did. I had pneumonia for about 2 weeks.
Well, I'm glad you're better.
And I'd already had some antibiotics, so I had to beat it without antibiotics.
Wow.
But I've still got a cough. I'm okay. The rest of me is all good. Once I broke the fever, I was fine. But it was a bit touch and go there. I did at one point. I was like, I'm really glad I redid my will recently, and that I left my empty collection of vodka bottles to Blue Collar Loser.
Yes.
So
pay for the
Blue
shipping,
Collar. Blue Collar, what you got coming up?
Well, we have in 2 hours. These 2 idiots with me and Lord Toxic. So Enzo made this awesome thumbnail. I've made it for 9 to give everyone some time, but we're starting our. We're starting.
Do you want to put that up, and I'll put it up on screen.
Sure.
This thumbnail.
Yeah, we're doing. Enzo's got a copy of it. Our
Quentin, back it up, man.
Quentin
Okay, let's see.
Januarantino, and how the fuck do we say?
Quentin Januarantino. That
There
is
we go.
correct. Let's see here. Yeah, you got it.
You're not
Or you want
nicking
me
my
to-
idea and doing parody streams, are you?
No,
No,
no. We're
yeah.
just going to be all of our Losers Lounge movies are going to be not necessarily Quentin Tarantino films, but like Quentin Tarantino
That's today.
adjacent.
We're doing that today.
So tonight
We're
we're
gonna
doing
start
four
today, every
rooms.
Tuesday.
we're doing
Every
4
Tuesday
rooms.
this month.
4 rooms is tonight.
Damn it!
Oh, you're just doing 4 rooms tonight.
Tonight, yeah, and then
No.
Yeah.
then
I saw that at the cinema,
really,
and
wow.
I saw the very first screening of it in the UK. It was
Yeah.
part of the Shots in the Dark festival in
amazing-
Nottingham.
It's amazing. I think you said on Twitter that it's funny how Natural Born Killers it's a Quentin film, but he doesn't like it.
No, I think he wrote the screenplay, but Oliver Stone
Yeah,
changed it
yeah,
too much for him. They had a massive falling out about it.
yeah.
And in fact, I think they've not spoken since, or at least they certainly
Really?
didn't speak for a long time,
Wow.
which is a real shame because they're 2 of my favorite filmmakers.
Yeah.
2 very distinct, different voices. And I'm not surprised that collaboration didn't work for him, but I still think it's a very, very good movie.
Yeah.
Aha. Losers Lounge.
think,
Quentin Januarantino.
Yeah. So I'll try and be on the Natural Born Killers one because it's quite a lot.
No, you're more than
Yeah,
welcome.
join us.
If I
No,
can
it's-
stay up.
Well, I said
That
I purposely I'll wait till like your stream is over and they want to give.
It'll
me
be like
info on
real
YouTube.
early morning
Yeah.
for you, if we do it late enough.
Well,
Yeah.
what we can do is time it for my one ending half-hour break and then
Yeah.
pop
Not
on.
against it.
Yeah,
I
we can
haven't
time it for like,
seen- I haven't
right
seen-
around this time, maybe.
I haven't seen 4 Rooms recently, but if I remember rightly, the bellboy on it is played by.
Tim Roth.
Tim Roth.
Not yeah.
Oh, right. No, so I'm getting it mixed up. I have seen 4 Rooms, but there's another film with the actor that plays Serge in Beverly Hills Cop,
Hmm.
where he plays
Ooh.
a bellboy. I think that movie actually might be called Blame It on the Bellboy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I really like that actor. I really
Well,
like
it all
that
started because we were talking
it's
about
very
what to
funny, yeah.
watch for like
Yeah.
New Year's.
Well, it's
And I
on
was
True
like,
Romance, though, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he is
Yeah,
a true
plays,
romance, right.
Yeah, he's the actor, and who gets a
Right.
lot of coke on him and grasses him off.
And yeah, you are thinking of Blame It on the Bellboy. Yes.
Bronson Pincott. Yeah, thank
Dudley
you
Moore.
for that. Yeah, no, Tim Roth was
Ackwell.
the bellboy in.
Bronson Pinchot.
Gonna have to disagree with you, Leroy, on all counts on this because 1, I think that's Tarantino's
Why?
finest film,
Yeah.
and 2, even though I'm a big fan of Bruce Lee, he was known to be quite arrogant, and would often spout that kind of stuff on set, and I heard a lot of stories through people that worked in the industry, not nasty stories about him,
No.
but just that he would say stuff like that. And I actually think that scene in the movie is, you've got to take it for what it is. You've got to take it not as, it's not history, it's Tarantino's interpretation of the people and the characters that were working in Hollywood at that time.
Exactly.
And I know Bruce Lee's wife was a little bit upset about it, but I also
Oh,
know
it
that a lot,
was his daughter too. His daughter was pissed off about it.
yeah, his daughter, that's
Yeah.
right. But I also know that a lot of people that had worked with him found it very funny and said it wasn't unlike some of the things that
maybe I've
happened.
only watched once. I should watch that again.
Yeah.
True Romance is a great film. I love True Romance. Very good. There you go. See, if you would,
Dust Till
Leroy's a
Dawn.
big fan of that one, so you could get him on that January 30th, maybe.
Yeah, like you said, the whole Bruce Lee thing, it's like anything. You can respect the artist, you can respect what he did, but sometimes people, plus the guy was young or early 20s, 30s. Some guys had a way of arrogance and cockiness about it. It's
I think also to make it in Hollywood as an Asian actor
especially
at that
back then.
time extremely difficult, and I think he probably had to have a public air of confidence at that level to get where he got. And so I don't think personally, I don't think Tarantino disrespected him. I just think he had fun with the myth of the man. But I get why his relatives were upset. I get that.
Remember that happened with Cinderella Man. Remember the controversy with the guy who beat Bear? Like his Bear's grandkids were really pissed off at Ron Howard for directing him to be like that. Max
Right.
Bear. Yeah. It's
Interesting. So what else you got coming up, Bastard?
Well, I think I might do the Marvels next, and then I've got Terminator, Bastard's Breakdowns with Blue Collar Loser, where we discussed the first Terminator movie.
Right.
dear God, what a film!
And that's this Friday, and that's this Friday.
I remember when we saw that, and June in the same day they were released, the same day, and we went to see Terminator first, and we loved it so much we were quite tempted to go straight back in and watch it again, but we had committed to going to see June in the cinema at the next town along because it was on in the big screen, and June was on in the small screen in this cinema, and Terminator was on in the big screen. And because we went to that cinema was the one that was delivered the wrong print of June. They were delivered the working director's cut, so we got to see a 45-minute longer version of June that was never shown anywhere else.
Nice.
The cinema was delivered by accident. I did a whole blog about it. That was really bizarre. I've never seen that. I've seen longer edits of Lynch's June, like the one with the big animated intro and all of that. But I've never seen the version that I saw the first time. It's a nuts story. I'm trying to get the inside story on that still.
I watched the riff tracks of the 2023 Dune. That was or 2021. When did that come out? 22.
22.
I saw the riff tracks of that Dune. It was pretty darn hilarious. It's funny.
I'm looking forward to seeing the part 2 of it. I waited long enough.
Yeah, Dune 2.
That was on my most anticipated of 2023 this year.
Yeah, it was my most anticipated.
Yeah.
So Northern, anything else coming up?
So far, to be announced.
To be announced. Actually, Leroy, you're right. The premiere of June was
there you go.
November 2021 because I was there.
Ages
right,
ago, it seems.
But it went on. Its release kind of went into 2022.
Yeah,
it was around for quite a while. Yeah, I agree. Also, can't wait. Melvin disagrees with me about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Melvin, I look forward to having a debate with you about that.
Yeah, I'll listen to that.
I mean, look, it's an interesting film. It's a really divisive film. It's Marmite. People either love it or they hate it.
Yeah.
I work in the film industry, and for me, I absolutely loved it, and I got completely what he was trying to do with it. I mean, the funny thing is I didn't really like Inglourious Bastards when I saw it. I like it now, but I didn't like it when I saw it.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, so all right.
I always saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as like a hangout movie because Tarantino's been on about that with Jackie Brown. It's like it's a hangout movie. You're hanging out with these people, and that's basically what I saw with his last one.
Yeah, I mean it's and it's also what you need to understand about that movie is if Hollywood, what he's saying is if Hollywood could have hired a director, the Manson family scheme to murder people, and the whole era would have ended on this really high note of these, and it would have been the Hollywood ending for Hollywood for that decade. That's not what they got. That's not what happened.
Exactly.
But so that's what he was trying to do with that film, and I like that. I watch that film every year. I love the scene with the kid actor, who is more confident than DiCaprio, and she's got her whole career nailed already, and he's completely intimidated by her, and that's why he starts losing his shit. And yeah man,
I love that scene. That was the best acting I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. By the way, I agree with you, Leroy. The Beach, not a good film.
I liked The Beach. I thought it was cool vibe, and yeah, it would have been better if it would have been better if Ewan McGregor would play the guy like he was supposed to. But
yeah,
do you think DiCaprio was too young then for that time?
Not only that,
just very nostalgic for me, and also I like these ambiguous endings.
DiCaprio insisted on some of the worst changes that departed from the book, like his character sleeping with the leader of the group, Tilda Swinton's character. In the book, that never happens.
Of course.
And that was not in the original script. And basically, DiCaprio was like, no, but they should sleep together because, my character's desirable and all this shit. And so it all got changed and written out. I was like, fuck off. That's awful. So, no, sorry, man. That film sucked. But, hey, if you like it, all good.
I think sucked is a little harsh. But yes.
Well,
it's definitely not the best Leo movie.
No.
Leo excels as an actor when he's playing someone with learning disabilities or screaming. He's doing one of those two that he's doing good.
I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is probably one of his best performances of his career.
I love The Departed, obviously, and
also very good. Also very good. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up there. So we'll see. I'll hopefully see some of you next Tuesday. For more,
definitely up for it.
More stuff. Very good. And do you know what, Blue Collar? I immediately got what you meant about when you watch The Revenant. You come out of that movie and you feel like you've been sitting inside an iceberg.
I said, because I'm in New York State. It's February. I went outside the theater to my car. It's like negative 15 degrees. Walking to my car, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
And you're already cold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I swear some people were turning up the air conditioning in the cinemas deliberately just to make you feel even colder when you were watching that movie. Yeah. But what a great. That movie didn't blow me away, but I love that opening 20-minute shot. Absolutely amazing piece of cinema. But
plus,
but, I just don't want to really see a 60-minute film about someone getting humped by a bear. But anyway, so thanks. Listen, thanks to my guests for coming on.
Thank you.
And
thank you very much.
Guys, do check out their stream, which is starting in about 107 minutes or something.
Yeah. 4 rooms, a comedy.
Give or take.
Yay!
We'll be. Diabolical Souls has popped in just to see us leave. We're just wrapping up, dude.
We're gonna watch 4 Rooms on Blue Collar's channel in a couple hours.
I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, Jay, and hearing your thoughts on my book, which you should have read by now. So fun times. I bet you really enjoyed the Lance Nielsen Dawson Creek experience. Anyway, until next week at 10 o'clock, I will also be streaming tomorrow. Don't forget, Dennis McGuire interview, First AD from the Patriot Games, Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, Karate Kid 2, Misery. I did a tech check with him today, and that ended up being a 45-minute chat. So
I can imagine.
So 2 more interviews next week. I've got an interview on Thursday with an up-and-coming film director. He's recently done a movie called Blank. So loads of stuff on the channel to check out.
Oh, yeah.
In the meantime, look after yourselves. Don't forget to tell the people that you care about that you love them, unless it's Northern Bastard, of course, in which case send him a rude meme on your phone. Until then, I'll speak to you all again real soon. Thank you for tuning in, chat. And don't forget to like and subscribe and all that stuff. And we'll see you soon.
Later.